the Oklahoma State 5A High School Football Championship game between the Ardmore Tigers and Oklahoma City's Douglass Trojans. Now, here are Dean Blevins and Mick Cornett.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to Stillwater, Oklahoma. And the word is snow. And the word is we will play football, though, Mick.
That's right. I think we need to be Eskimos out here. There's 2 or 3 inches of snow on the surface team. We got 2 teams that built on speed. They're not going to like this stuff.
They may not, but we will play, and it will certainly be a neutralizing factor this afternoon and an interesting ball game. We hope you will stay tuned with us. Could be the smallest crowd on hand ever for a state championship game, yet hopefully the biggest audience that'll ever see one.
I glanced down at the Douglass stands a while ago. Not a single person was sitting in the stands. I mean, nobody. Ardmore had about 10 or 15 people. Could be the Douglass people are just underneath and wait until it quits snowing.
But there are some talented players down there on the field, and we are expecting an outstanding ball game. We will be having a couple of folks on the sideline for us today. Joining us on the Ardmore sideline out of Tulsa, KTUL, the sports director up there, Bob Healy. Bob, how is it down there?
Hey, you know, Dean, I want to get up there in the booth with you and Mick, all right? I get stuck on the sidelines when it's snowing. You guys are after me, aren't you? But, hey, you know, this is a matchup between 2 teams that are very similar. The key today is going to be how they handle the elements. I want you to look at what the field's like here. All they've been able to clear is about a swath about 2 feet away. As you can see, there's a couple inches on here. They've got every 10 yards they've cut an opening where the officials can see. So obviously the field is not typical playing conditions. This is going to be a very strange afternoon, but hey, we're going to play 12:02. We're going to kick it off. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, and cold.
All right, thank you very much. And over on the other sideline, we will not check in with him right now, but we will shortly. David Bradley out of Lawton will be keeping us up to date on the Douglass sideline, and it'll be a frigid afternoon.
Well, it will, and it's really a shame in the standpoint that these 2 teams have played all season long hoping to get to a state finals, and now that they get here and they can't play under the truest of conditions. But it will certainly be interesting, and I certainly think you should throw another log on the fire because this one should be fun.
Well, we have lots of speedy athletes, and the snow will slow them down, but they certainly will continue to play on through it. Ardmore comes in, an outstanding ball club, undefeated, ranked number 1 in Class 5A. Douglass, very, very strong as well. The Trojans have lost only 1 ball game, so we should have a dandy. Stay with us. We'll take our first break, and we'll be back from Stillwater, Oklahoma after this. Dean Blevins along with Mick Cornett. The 5A state championship game just moments away between Ardmore and Douglass. And let's take a look at some Ardmore video, Mick.
Ardmore is a team that's built on speed. They have a blue chip wide receiver in Taj Johnson, but they have another guy that you'll see in this videotape. His name is Marcus Banks. Look at him get deep, and Jeff Moser hits him for a long touchdown. Now, this was against Carl Albert. Carl Albert played both of these teams, and Carl Albert had to come from behind to defeat Ardmore 21-17, but Douglass handled Carl Albert fairly easily, 28-7. Yet, when I asked Carl Albert coach Jack Pebworth who he thought would win the game, he kind of likes Ardmore, but admits that Ardmore could very well win it. But he thinks, Douglass could win it, but he thinks Ardmore might have an edge.
Let's go back down to the sideline. Bob Healy with some updated information on the Ardmore sideline. Bob?
Yeah, Dean, we are still watching the snow come down out here on the sideline. You know, what we need to really watch for is how the weather obviously is going to affect the game. We've got a couple of officials over here. Let's go over and see if we can find out. Obviously, this is going to be different than usual for you guys. How does the snow on the field affect the weather conditions out here?
It'll affect us in the manner of how we make a judgment on a particular type of play. Case in point, if we have a hit near the sideline, the ball carrier probably will slide. He may slide. The defender may come over to make a tackle. He may make an attempt to hold up and may not be able to.
It's going to be hard to see how they line up, too, isn't it?
That is correct. That is correct. Without the use of the sidelines or the line markers, we'll just have to do a best judgment.
And we're going to kick it off on time. There's no delay in this one.
As far as we haven't been informed at this point, there's no delay. We'll kick it off at 12:02.
One of the things, Dean, about the weather is that obviously they haven't been able to clear the field. The players weren't able to get out an hour before the game like they usually do to test their shoes. The Ardmore players have some nipple shoes they may be wearing and the regular tennis shoes. So they're making a decision now on what they're going to wear to try to slip and slide through this afternoon. Mick?
All right. Dean? Thank you very much. And we're introducing a new gadget here for high school football.
Your new toy.
That's right, a new toy. Take a look at our telestrator here. This is what we'll be working off of this afternoon. And here is the Ardmore offense lined up in an I formation. Ardmore will do lots of different things. We'll start off with just your basic play where they'll run a fullback up the middle. They'll pull this play side guard. Oh, first mistake. That's a center. They won't pull him. But they'll block down with a tackle and the tight end, and they like to run just your basic play up the middle with the fullback. And that is what Ardmore will do. They do pull the play side guard quite a bit. Let's go down to the other sideline right now, though, and working that sideline, David Bradley. We worked with us last year.
That's right, David, from Channel 7 in Lawton on our network affiliation today. David?
Okay, thanks a lot. Of course, as far as Douglass is concerned, they run a wishbone option attack, so the question for them is, how is this weather going to affect them? Will they be able to get to the corner? They sent some of their fellas out about 30 minutes before the game started with some shoes. They had 3 different kinds of shoes they brought down. Everybody seemed to be testing it out. It's really not all that slick out here. One of the assistant coaches said they'll run the option. Since the sidelines are clear, they feel they're all right. If they can just get there, they can run straight on in. They'll also throw it, too. They'll break the wishbone, and they'll throw the football. So if they have things coming up in the running attack, they can still go to the air. They'll alternate quarterbacks on every play. Let's go back upstairs.
Stanford White is looking forward to throwing the ball, but it will be a difficult afternoon to do that, to say the least. 2 talented wide receivers. Actually, one is listed as a wide receiver, Chris Lofton, and Alonzo Mays, a tight end. They'll split them both out, Mick, and I believe we have some tape on the Trojans.
Well, we do. Douglass is a team that evidently is not going to change its offense for the conditions today. At least that's what David Bradley was implying. We see Mike Colston here. He's one of the starting quarterbacks, throwing to big Alonzo Mays. Division I coaches like this guy's size, his quickness. He almost scored on this play. But Douglass runs out of the wishbone attack. Here's left halfback Ken Lewis. Watch him stretch the ball over the goal line. Douglass is extremely quick on defense. On this play, you'll see defensive end William Scales, who has 12 quarterback sacks this year, come in, not only gets the sack, knocks the ball away. Mays comes along, gathers it up, takes it in for a touchdown. A dominating type defense, but Dean, the big thing that jumps out on me as far as the Trojans attack is the slowest guy on the defensive unit runs a 4.940.
Wow.
And that's hard to believe.
Let's take a look at the Trojans here on the telestrator and show you what they will do offensively. Now, this is a tight end. He actually will not be here. He'll move him out to split him out. On the other side, this tight end will not be here much. Now, in goal line situations, those guys will be in there, but they'll split both of those ends out and go from the wishbone. And, of course, in the wishbone, the quarterback comes down the line of scrimmage. Whoa. All right, we're going to have to be patient here with this thing. Fullback right here. They will run a lead scheme where they get the halfback on the blocking down on the linebacker or whatever the 2-man might be, and the quarterback comes down the line, around the corner, and of course this is the pitch man out of the backfield, and they try to use their tremendous speed. So it'll be a game of options, and with the weather the way it is, even if Douglass is unable to throw, they will still run a high-risk offense, and you'll see the ball pitched a lot, and that could be a factor.
We probably should point out at this point that several of the other state high school games today have been postponed. The Class 6A game that was going to be tonight here at 7 o'clock on 5 Alive and our network here on Lewis Field has been postponed. We do not know when that game will be played. The Class 4A game, we're still trying to get information on that, but we understand that has probably been postponed over in Weatherford. The Class 3A game has been postponed. The Class B game will be played. Now, in 2A, they're just in the semifinals, but boy, are people excited about Winnie Wood and James Allen.
Yes, James Allen, just an outstanding back. It's a year of tremendous talent around the state of Oklahoma in all positions, certainly at the running back position. James Allen, Mick, just an absolutely phenomenal football player. Not your breakaway speed, not a guy that's going to jump out and run a 4.40, but a guy that can break tackles. He's very elusive, a good student, and everybody wants him around America.
Well, I know a lot of people around the state haven't had a chance to see James Allen. We put together this feature on the top running back in the state.
James Allen will be a great college running back. Any doubt James Allen will be a great college running back?
No question at all. You can, you don't have to ask me for that play. You can go ask anybody. Anybody's come and watched him play, anybody's watched him on film, they'll tell you right away. You can ask anybody that's recruiting right now, and they'll tell you that he's top on their list.
A sprained knee early this season, cause for concern.
It was very, very shocking and scary for me because I didn't know, what was going to happen. I thought, this was it. My mind was going crazy.
Is it 100% now?
Yeah. I can do everything full speed.
Healthy now. The 17-year-old running back is racking up some big numbers. 1,900 yards rushing this season, 28 touchdowns, leading undefeated Winniewood into tomorrow's 2A semifinals. Huge career numbers, 5,790 yards rushing, 88 touchdowns.
because I think that I have a long ways to go. You know, I have to get a lot quicker and a lot faster. And if they can say that about me right now, just being 17 years old and still in high school, I think when I do reach my peak of performance, maybe I'll break some more records in college and hopefully have an NFL career and do some things for my teammates and people around me.
Do you envision the big-time college atmosphere, national television? I mean, can you project yourself from Wynnewood here to the other?
Nah, that's something that I'm going to just have to wait and see. I know when I go to play college, it's going to be a dome, and it's going to be big lights and thousands of people there every day we play or even practice. And, you know, it's going to be something that I can't wait to look forward to, and it'd be an honor to go play somewhere like that. But leaving home, a small town like this, you know, it's going to have a lot of memories that I can take with me.
And James will leave a few memories as well. James Allen, one of the top running backs, not only in Oklahoma, but across the nation. He told me he plans to make 5 official visits. He plans to take a visit to Florida, to Notre Dame, perhaps to Michigan, and to a state school, most likely Oklahoma. And the 5th, come help me, Mick, what might it have been? It was a good school. Not Miami, but it was a good one. Every school in the country recruiting James Allen. I mentioned there are some other good running backs in the state also.
There's David Thompson out of Okmulgee. He's an outstanding player. Jason Jacoby out of UConn might get overlooked by most of the Division I scouts, but outstanding speed for Mike Little, 4.5 speed. Not bad at all. And, of course, the guy that I really like, Tyrell Peters.
Yeah.
Man, that guy can play. Huge player.
Yeah, he's out of Norman. He plays linebacker and running back. Just a dominating high school player. And lots of others around the state of Oklahoma. Those are just some of them, though.
That's right. And really, I think what we're seeing today is a battle of wide receivers. We have Chris Lofton, who is a blue-chip wide receiver. We have Taj Johnson. We have Alonzo Mays. Those are 3 guys that any college in the state, or really almost any college in the country, would love to have sign in February to come play.
Johnson, of course, from Ardmore, and he's racked up some great numbers, tremendous athlete. And the question is, will the field allow those players to do what their skills would allow them to do otherwise? We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we will have more pregame talk, Ardmore and Douglass, for the 5A state championship. Stay with us.
And you see kickoff down to Lewis Field in Stillwater. Exactly what happened there.
Ardmore won the toss, I believe. And they will kick off.
Okay, fellas.
And look at the field. Boy, it is really wicked down there. Ardmore will kick off. Douglass to receive. And Mick, I was in Colorado calling a Big 8 game a couple of weeks ago, and it snowed a foot the night before the game. And the Colorado Buffaloes a little bit more prepared for that type of weather than here in Stillwater or anywhere else in this part of the state as far as that goes. And they cleaned the field off in about 30 minutes, and it was just as good as it had ever been.
Well, they had some problem with the snow equipment here on Lewis Field today, and of course that was not a great thing for the 5A coaches to hear. But they have part of the field cleared. You know, about every 10 yards they've got a strip, and I'm not sure that helps. It may help us find where they are, but you know, that's like a 3-inch drop-off every time you take 3 steps.
Well, there'll be some games being played out there in terms of getting in the runway where you can actually have good footing, so it will be a fun afternoon. Visiting with Ronnie Tipps, the Ardmore coach, yesterday, I asked him about the weather, and I don't think anyone really envisioned it being this severe. And Coach Tipps said, we will play on anything. We would go play on concrete if that's what we had to play on. I think they'd prefer to play on concrete versus this.
You might be right. You know, it's always been my opinion that in a bad day like this, the offense had a little bit of an advantage because the wide receivers know where they're going. The defensive players do not, and that's when you slip, when you're trying to make that step back. And from that standpoint, if somebody's going to fall down, generally it's a defensive back and not a wide receiver.
But the ball has to be throwable, and maybe it'll be throwable here early, but I will be very surprised if the ball is in any condition to be thrown very far and very effectively. But we'll see. That's what makes this game kind of fun this afternoon.
So it'll get wet and heavy? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty early.
Yeah.
Pretty early.
Will they have to be shifting balls in and out?
Yeah, I'm sure they will run through a lot of pigskin early in the ball game this afternoon.
Well, I wouldn't expect these teams to give up on the pass, you know, totally. These teams rely on it too much. And what really, you know, worries me for Douglass is that wishbone offense in this one. Can you run wide in this stuff?
Well, it will certainly restrict anything you do. I think what it does is keeps you from maybe pitching the ball as much as you want. You'll probably see the Douglass quarterbacks, and they'll shift them in and out, be on the corner in the lead scheme. The loaded scheme is what they call it, where you have the quarterback trying to run the football, and then you'll probably see Ardmore force the pitch some just so you can see the ball in the air, and maybe we'll have more turnovers than normal.
Well, the Ardmore fans drove up I-35 this morning, and Bob Healy is in the stands. Let's check in with him. Bob?
Oh, this is what the Ardmore contingent looks like, Mick and Dean. Not a whole lot of people here. Most of them came up the night before for the ball game, and so a lot of people are staying at home. But John Hill is one of the folks that came up with us. John, did you come up the night before and get stuck in this?
Yeah, we've got brother-in-law, so we came up to be with him to make sure we could get here on time, you know. We didn't want to get in Ardmore and not be able to get here. There were so many people that decided they weren't going to come because it was going to be on television and the weather. So we didn't want to take any chances. And,
so at least we're going to have a large TV audience, apparently, Mick and Dean, if nothing else. But the Ardmore fans may be sparse, but they are very vocal. But a lot of folks watching us on TV today, so staying warm, I suppose.
All right. Thank you very much, Bob. And on the other side, I think we could probably, David Bradley could interview every one of the Douglass fans and give them an exclusive. What do you think?
Maybe. I think, is David standing by?
Don't know.
Okay, let's go down to David Bradley on the Douglass sidelines. David?
You're right. There's about half a dozen of us over here. We're all just going to get together and have a little party and throw snowballs back and forth. I guess the Oklahoma City trip, they could take a little bit longer time to decide if they wanted to come up or not. If you look down the sideline, one thing that you'll see that's different about this sideline and that is that Douglass has heaters on their sideline. On the other side, there are no portable heaters, but they have 3 of them. The Douglass Trojan staff brought those out, and so you can imagine that these will be popular items today. I know if the players aren't hogging them, I'm going to claim one for myself. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thanks. You know, you get in these weather conditions, sometimes it's the teams that, or the team that is the most organized, the one that may be able to shuttle dry balls in and out, that may be able to keep dry gear for their players to be most comfortable. That's the team that will have the major advantage, and we'll find out today which one is ready. Hopefully they'll be even, because you get in a game like this, these kids have worked all season long, really some of them for 3 and 4 years through high school. They've been playing to come down to one ball game, and you hate to see the elements just dominate, but that might be what happens.
So you're saying the managers and the trainers,
you bet,
those guys that get to wear the leather jackets but don't get beat up on Friday nights, they're finally going to have to come through.
Maybe the first time in the history of high school football we'll have a trainer as the most valuable player this afternoon. Let's see the lineups.
Yeah, let's start with Ardmore. Looking at their defensive unit first. The Ardmore Tigers, coached by, well, let's start with Douglass. Douglass on defense, and we see Alonzo Mays, 225-pound senior. This guy's big, Dean.
He'll play college ball, Mick. He plays both ways. A tremendous defensive player. Maybe better, though, as a tight end.
Okay, switching on down the line, Kevin Dickerson, a 195-pound junior. He wears jersey number 60. Now, Douglass runs a 4-3. We switch back to the linebacker spot. That's Mark Lyon, 5'9", 185-pound senior, has 157 tackles this year, and I'm not lying. I mean, that's a great day.
These guys are speedy. They covered all the field. Mike Parrish, your linebacker, a big one, 205, a senior.
He wears jersey number 3, like the Golds T-shirt there. You know where he spends his off-season time.
Parrish, a 4-year starter, as are 4 of the Trojans. These guys came in as freshmen and started for Stan White.
Here's the fastest guy on the team, Orlando Walton, a 180-pound senior, wears jersey number 24. He's 5'9" tall, runs a 4.440, Dean, and he's run a 10.400 meter, but they said he had a little bit of wind behind him. He feels like he's a 10.5 sprinter.
That is smoke, though, Mick. That you can run when you do that. Next up, Mitch Broyles, one of the quarterbacks for Douglass, a safety as well, 185-pound junior, had a twisted ankle early in the season. He's ready to go today, though.
He'll be wearing jersey number 25. Kenyatta Davis wearing number 11, 5'10", 165-pound senior. Shaton Jones, that is how he pronounces that name, Shaton. Offensive tackle, 245-pound junior.
There's Dickerson again. He goes both ways. A center at 195 pounds. A junior.
Just a junior, that's right. Junior. Douglass not real big up front. There you see Billy Page, though, 225 pounds. One of the biggest guys. Say they're not real big. Really, they're not very big on the defensive front. Their offensive front is fairly good size. Page, 225-pound junior, wearing number 51. James Howitt, 245-pound. Just a baby, Dean. He's only a sophomore. Larry Say, offensive tackle, 220 pounds. And Alonzo Mays. We're going to call this guy's name a lot today. 225-pound junior. He is a Division I prospect. There's a blue chipper, Dean. Chris Lofton.
Chris Lofton, 4'6". He is being recruited by Duke and almost everybody out there. Very good student. And probably a little bit better football player than he is a student, and he's a standout student.
He's also a great basketball player.
Yeah.
You know, the Douglass basketball program just can't wait to get Lofton and Mays out there. They took on Norman last week, and without those two guys, they're just not the same team.
A fine fullback, and you need one in a wishbone offense. Tony King, 195-pounder. He's a senior.
Take a look at the quarterbacks. There's Mitch Broyles, and they use a 2-quarterback system. So instead of shuttling the plays in with a wide receiver, as most high school teams do, Douglass uses 2 quarterbacks. Broyles is a junior, perhaps a little better runner than the other quarterback who we'll take a look at, Mike Colston. Colston might have an edge passing-wise, but really they run the same offense, and there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. He's 180 pounds, 5'10". Adrian Lottie, number 33, 5'9", 165-pound senior. And Ken Lewis is one guy we didn't show here. He's a left halfback on the offense, also a safety on defense. And Stanford White is happy to have him on the team.
Stanford White loves that wishbone. Went to the passing game, though, in the offseason, feeling that that's what he really needed to do, take advantage of his 2 extraordinarily talented wide receivers, tight ends, whatever you want to call them. They're receivers. They're both good, and they will be throwing to them out of the wishbone this afternoon.
Stanford White won a state championship at Douglass back in 1976, his very first year with the Trojans. He said there, he's a lot smarter now than he was back then, 16 years later.
Good players make you smarter. Let's take a look at the other side of the ball. We go to the Ardmore Tigers, and Ardmore comes in undefeated. Mick, some people tell me the best team in the state of Oklahoma, regardless of class. I know a couple of teams would argue that point, but they are very, very good. Cody Reese, defensive end, 185-pound junior.
Boy, Ardmore's got good size. Chris Talton, 278-pound junior. Take a look next. Daniel Mealy, 200-pound nose guard, just a junior. Ricardo Gonzalez, number 79, 265-pound senior. And on defensive end, he'll play both ways, Jeremy Gay, 190 pounds. 2 linebackers, Dean.
The 2 are Agers, linebacker, 240 pounds, a junior.
And Dion Wiggins, 6 foot, 218-pound senior. He'll also be playing fullback for the Tigers.
Yeah, he's a dandy. A lot of these kids, of course, go both ways. Wiggins, one of them, and he is a dynamite fullback as well. McGee, one of the cornerbacks, 170-pound senior in Ardmore.
Brian Cooper, safety, 175-pound junior. Da'Wuan Lawson, 6 foot, 168-pound senior. And Bobby Cole at the other cornerback. He plays tailback as well, 175 pounds. Let's take a look at the Ardmore offense. There's Kyle Richardson, offensive tackle, 227 pounds. Court Roberts, he'll wear jersey number 52, 5'11", 210. Ellis Dyson, center, 245-pound senior. Royce Evans, offensive guard, 215 pounds. And Chris Talton, you know, in the snow, Dean, I got to figure the 278-pound guys are going to be moving people back because they can't get traction, and look for Chris Talton to be a key player today for Ardmore. He wears jersey number 76, Jeremy Gay, number 87. He'll be trying to catch some passes. Wide receivers.
Marcus Banks is split in, 150 pounds, a senior. He's a good runner.
Big fullback.
Dion Wiggins, the one we mentioned a moment ago at linebacker, but a very strong fullback, 218 pounds. Wiggins, a senior.
And, of course, quarterback Jeff Moser, you saw the videotape a while ago. He can go deep. He can also lead this team. He is a senior.
Well, Moser, I'm sure, is concerned about the weather because he is an outstanding thrower, and he likes to throw to this guy, Mr. Johnson, a flanker, 185-pound senior, one of the finest receivers in the state.
He likes to be called Tosh, and we will do so today. At tailback, they'll be using 2 guys a lot. Bobby Cole, 175-pound senior. Remember, he was on defense, too. He will play at least half the time at tailback. Da'Wuan Lawson, 6 foot, 168-pound senior. He also will play on defense, and of course the head coach is Ronnie Tipps.
Ronnie Tipps, a good one, and Ronnie told me yesterday that his team will line up some this afternoon in an unbalanced line. They'll run a toss sweep against Douglass, and the thinking being that Douglass has the speedy defense. The 3 linebackers will like to run to the side, and maybe they can cut back against them. Again, though, the weather conditions are so severe this afternoon, the speed differential will not be that great. It'll be a major neutralizing factor.
All right, Douglass and Ardmore, the 5A state championship. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Stillwater, Oklahoma, the 5A state championship football game. 45 seconds from kickoff, and it is a snowy, cold afternoon here in Stillwater. The Douglass Trojans ready to come out. Let's go down to the sidelines with KTUL out of Tulsa's sports director, Bob Healy. Bob?
Well, Dean, it's number 1 against number 2, but obviously the elements are going to play a factor. This is what the players are going to have to deal with today. Look at the depth of this snow out here on the field that's been left. You can see, how are you supposed to run through this, run a pattern, cut, go from side to side? It's going to be virtually impossible. The key early in this game is how the two sides are going to adapt. The Ardmore players have some nipple shoes. Some of them are wearing those to get a better grip. They normally wear them on regular grass, and then some of them are wearing normal tennis shoes for the turf. So really the key, I think, early in this ball game is going to be who adapts to the elements, who's able to move the football despite the conditions. We'll find out in just a few moments.
All right, let's go across the sideline to see David Bradley and what's going on that sideline, David.
And carrying on that point that Bob made a little bit too, is that it's awfully tough to get started. They're standing in about 5 inches, and when you watch these guys try to take off on the line and in the backfield, it takes 2 or 3 steps just to get things going. That makes this first possession awfully important. Probably a great choice by Ardmore to try to play defense first, because field position will also be a major factor on a day like this. Let's go back to you guys.
And there's the number 1 team in the state in 5A. The Ardmore Tigers, 12-0, of Coach Larry Tipps.
13-0, Dean. Not much better you can do than that. They looked like they were beat against Carl Albert. Carl Albert had them down, had them on the ropes, but Ardmore able to score a late touchdown, come from behind to defeat them. Well, the players are fired up, no doubt about that. I mean, you can make it as tough as you can on these players. Their spirits are sky high, and really the fans are pretty excited too, especially the Ardmore side, which is we heard earlier, many of them came in last night, and so they had no choice whether or not to come to the game today. The Douglass people had an option whether to watch it on TV or come, and it looks like many of them have decided to stay home.
Douglass on a roll in the playoffs, 12-1 on the season. Get these numbers, Mick. In the playoffs, Douglass has beaten Chickasha 54-8, Woodward 34-0, and Bixby 42-7, a total of 113-15, giving up only 15 points. Ardmore effective as well. They are 13-0, and in the playoffs defeated El Reno 46-7, Carl Albert 24-21, and Durant 34-6 for a total of 104 points scored by Ardmore, and they've given up 34, the class of Class 5A.
Usually state title games are lower scoring than you expect, but in conditions like this, I don't think you can make any predictions.
That's a good one. Stay away from predictions on a day like this. Now, you can predict the ball to be turned over, but other than that, we'll just see what happens.
I've never seen a field that looked like this. You know, they call it a gridiron, right? Well, we've got a grid today. We're going back to the basics, I believe. Douglass will be receiving the kick. Ardmore will be kicking from left to right. A little bit different situation here. Ardmore won the toss, and where most teams defer in high school football when they win the toss, they've decided to kick off. Dean, what might they be thinking?
They want to play defense. They want to try to get an early turnover, or they think that it will be a defensive-dominated ball game, and with the elements as they are, I'm sure they're correct.
Well, in one sense, they would have Douglass to try to run some plays, and even Ardmore can watch them and see what works. Play field position, I guess. Number 48 for Ardmore, Tomas Vasquez, getting ready to kick it off. Can you see the Douglass players there at the middle of the field trying to scrape off some of the snow so they can get some footing? This is unbelievable. 2 to 3 inches of snow across Lewis Field. If you're just joining us, you're watching the 5A state championship game from Stillwater on a statewide network broadcast. Ardmore won the toss. They have elected to kick.
Not as severe as the Ice Bowl with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State back in, what was it, 85?
Yes, it was. Good.
But bad conditions, but not quite as severe as that night. That was
no. I was on the sidelines for that night, and there will never be another night like the Ice Bowl. At least this is snow. You know, it's not ice. It is snow, and you know, you can pick it up, you can throw it in the Ice Bowl. It just kind of knocked you over. Douglass will have Adrian Lottie and Chris Long back to return kicks, and boy, my biggest worry right now is that they'll get snow over those numbers, and we won't know who's who. Vasquez is going to kick it off. A very short kick taken by Mays at the 30, and he gets up to about the 37 or 38 yard line. So a very short kick. Maybe they were hoping for a mishandled ball, but Alonzo Mays took charge, went back, fought off one of his own players, and made the catch. And so Douglass will have pretty good field position at their own 37, let's call it 38-yard line. Of course, all measurements today are going to be guesstimations.
Douglass will come out in a wishbone offense. They will not run a tight end most of the time except on goal line situations. They will look to option the football and get one-on-one in the passing game if possible.
They open with a one-back set. They have broke the bone. That's Lofton at the top of your screen. Mays is at the near side. The quarterback is Colston. He throws on first down. Ball tipped and thrown incomplete. He was looking for Lofton, but right there was Dion Wiggins and Jeremy Gay defending.
Stanford White saying we want to throw the football and we don't care what the weather is, we'll do it on first down. Good defensive job in the backfield by the Tigers.
And if you wondered how the footing would be, if one play is any indication, not very good. It's second down and 10. Looks like they gained a little bit on the incompletion. I swear the ball's farther up than it was. Maybe not. Second down and 10 at the 38. Broyles should be in at quarterback as again Douglass breaks the wishbone. Mays is at the bottom of your screen. That's Lofton at the top. Two split ends. Ball is handed off up the middle. Ball may be loose, Dean. Ardmore says there's a fumble and they've got it, but the official is indicating in the other direction, saying Douglass has retained possession. The ball carrier was Tony King, the fullback. Appeared to be a mishandled handoff, and they have lost about 6 inches. Third down and 10. Now, at the other end of the field, I don't know if we can get a shot of this from our end zone camera. There are some people sweeping off the field. They're on like the 3-yard line. I guess assuming someone scores, that would be where they could have a shot at an extra point. So while the game is in progress, there are gentlemen on the field sweeping off the snow. Third down, just over 10 yards to go. Douglass in a passing situation, full wishbone attack, and the 25-second clock has expired. They're going to push him back.
Well, not only will we be seeing an afternoon full of turnovers more than likely, the weather just slows down the entire process. I'm sure on a normal afternoon with good weather, you get the snap off on time, but it just takes more time to get the play in, takes longer to get the play out of the huddle, and all of that, of course, with the clock doesn't matter what the weather is, it's going to tick off.
Third down and 15. If there is any team that likes third down and 15, it is Douglass, because they certainly have the weapons to convert. Chris Lofton, number 82, started for the left side. Now he moves to the right side. That's the top of your screen. One back, that is Tony King. Ken Lewis in motion. Colston to pass, or rather Broyles to pass. Throwing along, looking for Mays. He goes up and cannot make the play. Defending was number 85, Taj Johnson.
Great job by Johnson as Douglass got its one-on-one, which it was looking for. Unable to capitalize, though, and Ardmore will get the football.
Mays went up for it. Looks like both players had kind of misjudged where the ball was going to come down. It is not snowing as we speak, but you saw that they had no footing. They couldn't take a running jump. Punting will be Mitch Broyles for Douglass. Punting it from the 32-yard line. Brian Cooper back for Ardmore. End over end kick. Taken by Cooper at the 36. Trying to find some footing on the near sideline. A flag down, and he falls in the snow at about the 43. Flag on the play as Ardmore gets a little better field position than Douglass had. See if it's going to move him back a little bit. There you see the clipping foul indicated, which will be from the spot of the foul. So they're going to be back, well, inside the 40, definitely. And so Ardmore was hoping for field position here early. Looks like Douglass has been able to punk themselves out of the hole.
Ronnie Tipps, Ardmore Tigers, will come out in the pro eye, and they'll run some one back. Offensive line, Coach Tipps says, was unsure about it earlier, but it has been one of the most improved areas of this club.
Ardmore comes out in normally an I formation. Here they just have one back. That is Wiggins. They have twin receivers left and twin receivers right on 1st and 10 from their own 28. Moser hands off to Wiggins. He's met immediately by Mike Parrish. Oh, Parrish came up from his middle linebacking spot and hit Wiggins right between the numbers. They're going to spot that ball across the 30 at about the 31-yard line.
Ardmore with the 2 right and 2 left, trying to open up some running lanes. Good job by the Trojans defensively.
Gain of 2, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. Moser has wide receivers left and right. That's Taj Johnson at the lower left part of your screen. He's the blue chip receiver for Ardmore. Moser hands off over the right side. That's Da'Wuan Lawson. He's in the clear. 50, 45. Can the Douglass speed run him down? Da'Wuan Lawson has lit the scoreboard alive. No flags on the play. Da'Wuan Lawson on the way. 69 yards, and Da'Wuan Lawson has put the Ardmore stands to their feet. The Douglass speed, which has been able to run down player after player this year, was not able to do it on the snow, Dean.
Lawson gets this, an outstanding job by the offensive line, and they had spread the field out, and it was really nothing more than a foot race. Douglass out of position defensively. Lawson almost pulled down from behind, but he's able to hang on, and an outstanding run by Da'Wuan Lawson, and the first of what probably be a game of big play.
Vasquez has converted the extra point. It's 7-0 Ardmore. 9:45 to play in the first quarter. The Tigers have struck first. We'll be back. You're watching the 5A state championship game from Stillwater.
Nothing, and they will kick off to the Douglass Trojans.
Thomas Vasquez will once again have the kicking duties. Back deep for Douglass will be Adrian Lottie and Chris Long.
Ronnie Tipps coming in felt that preventing the big plays from Douglass would be the key for his team to win, and lo and behold, his club comes out with the first big play of the ball game. A little more boot here, huh?
Yes, and it goes to Chris Long at the 18-yard line. He crosses the 20 to the 25, 30, 35, and finally smothered by Taj Johnson, but not before he crossed the 40-yard line. Chris Long crossing the 40-yard line for Douglass. Nice return there on a fairly good kick. Now, the deep returners were only standing at the 20-yard line. Kicking game hampered as all the players are on this field. And Douglass comes out. Alonzo Mays will be at the top of your screen, and that is Chris Lofton, split in wide to the left. One back, that's Tony King. On 1st and 10, King has it. Big hole over the left side. Boy, he was met immediately by Eric Agers once he got through the line. Agers nailed him with a good low tackle. Tony King getting short yardage. Let's call it a gain of, what do you call that, Dean? 1 or 2? Oh, they're moving the chain up. Let's call it 2.
Boy, a nice stick, though, by Agers.
Big 2nd down and 8. There you see the scoring drive. 2 plays, 71 yards. Didn't take them long. Da'Wuan Lawson, 69 yards.
Here's the full set in the backfield out of a true wishbone.
Still got it. And tackled behind the line of scrimmage was Mitch Broyles.
Cody Colbert, 54, in on the stop, 230-pound senior.
Going to bring up 3rd down and 9. Douglass on its 2nd possession. If you just joined us, there's 8:23 to play in the first quarter. Ardmore leads it 7-0. Douglass had 1 possession. It was 3 downs and out. Ardmore took it on their 2nd play. Da'Wuan Lawson went the distance. It's 3rd down and 9. Lofton at the top of your screen. Mays at the bottom. King the lone setback for Colston. Colston wants to throw inside pitch, or handoff to Ken Lewis. He's into the secondary, but stopped short of the 1st down at midfield.
Great stick there by Brian Cooper. Looks like a fumble on the play.
Officials have stop play to try to sort it out. The Ardmore players, and they've got the football. The Ardmore players indicating they have it. The official confirms, and Ardmore has come up with a big turnover here.
Shuttle pass here by Douglass as they get the ball pitched. This is considered a completed pass, and where it looks like it'll go for big yardage. A great one-on-one stick by Brian Cooper, number 10, coming in from the secondary. And not only the tackle, which would have been short of the 1st down, but knocking the ball loose, and Ardmore, with a big turnover, has it 1st and 10, leading 7-0.
Douglass fumbled on its 1st possession, but was able to retain possession. And again, the men are sweeping off the field down at the other end zone. Here comes Ardmore, I formation. The pitch goes wide. Douglass players are right there to swarm over Bobby Cole. He did pick up fairly good yardage, though, close to the 40-yard line.
Lyon, Parrish, Walton, good linebackers, good pursuit there, but that's a tough play to stop in any condition. Certainly today, they'll be tossing it and going wide a lot, I would expect.
It'll bring up 2nd down and 5 for Ardmore. 7:06 to play, first quarter. Carmel McGee split wide to the left. Taj Johnson wide to the near side. Moser hands off to Wiggins. He crosses the 40 and gets up to the 38-yard line, very close to a first down. Mark Lyons over there to make the stop for Douglass. See if they're going to call in the chains, and they are. Dean, a lot of scrambling going on among the offensive coordinators right now. How much of your playbook can you keep? How much can you throw out?
Well, we haven't seen a completed pass yet, and I know that's what Douglass comes in wanting to do. I think the team that is relying on that perhaps at a disadvantage here this afternoon. Ardmore doing a good job offensively. They are clicking on all cylinders, and you really, when conditions are this bad, you have to bear down and play fundamental football more than anything.
See if they indeed have a first down. It was 2nd down and 5. They gained about 5. And it doesn't look like they quite made it. Looks like they're just a little bit short. It's going to bring up 3rd down and short for Ardmore, and that's Dion Wiggins territory. The ball is placed at the Douglass 39-yard line.
Generally, in a game like this, the team that is the most powerful, the one that has the ability to line up and run over you, will have more success because of the neutralizing factor of the field. We'll see here. A good example, 3rd and short. Can Ardmore be powerful here?
Moser has 3 running backs. And the whistle blows. See exactly what the problem is. I didn't see anybody jump, but there may have been movement on the Ardmore side.
Lined up in the neutral zone. We got a dead ball. Encroachment offense.
It is encroachment on the offense. That's going to bring up what was 3rd and about a foot. Now it's going to be 3rd and just over 5 yards to go. Tough break there for Ardmore. Ball being spotted at the 44. And really, Dean, you wonder if this doesn't just take the field goal out of the game completely.
Oh, I thought you meant on this possession. I was about to say, I believe on this possession it'd be safe. Unless you just have a dynamic kicker, I think it pretty much does. If it's late in the ball game and the team's inside the 10-yard line, perhaps, but really is tough to kick, tough to snap, tough to hold.
3rd and 6 from the 43. Moser drops back, wants to throw. Fires it over the middle and has his man Da'Wuan Lawson. He is tripped up near the line of scrimmage, and it'll be a punting situation for the Tigers.
Nice job by Mike Parrish, the 5'10", 205-pound senior for Douglass. Really stayed in his territory very, very well. That was a screen pass set up over the middle. Moser back, drops it off, but watch number 3 in white. Stays home, does a good job of one-on-one tackling here and brings down Lawson, the fellow who just trotted into the end zone for our only points of the afternoon.
Ball is at the 42. Wiggins will be snapping it from inside his own Ardmore territory and back deep for Douglass. Ken Lewis. Wiggins loses control of the football, and Douglass is going to take possession in Ardmore territory.
I just started to say that it is so difficult to snap in this weather. A moment ago when Douglass punted, they had a nice snap, but that's very, very difficult to do in weather like this, and so don't be surprised if we see a lot of this afternoon.
Dion Wiggins.
Just getting the kickoff is the important thing. You're not going to get your 35 or 40-yard average in this weather, but just getting it off is really important.
And Kenyatta Davis in there to make the stop. Wiggins could do nothing with the football. Wiggins still on the field. He's the strong side linebacker. Douglass out in their full wishbone look. Colston to pass. Is that a fumble or an incompletion?
The whistle did not blow, so that will be considered an incompletion. And again, we talk about such difficult conditions to throw the football. Douglass wanting to do that, wanting to get one-on-one coverage, and Trojans trying it again, but unsuccessfully, and they will be in 2nd and long.
Kevin Dickerson recovering for Douglass what was a fumble, and the officials want to call a timeout of their own. Maybe they're cold.
I think Stanford White is going to have to reconsider what he wanted to do. I mean, it's one thing to come in with a game plan thinking that you have to exploit maybe an advantage in getting his wide receivers, but watch as the ball comes loose as Colston just can't grab hold of it.
couldn't tell if an Ardmore player was able to help that one out of his hand or not. 2 wide receivers for Douglass on 2nd down and 18. Lofton is split wide to the right, Mays wide to the left. They run an inside reverse, and Adrian Lottie is able to get nowhere, tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of 1 or 2 yards.
Ardmore stunning some up front. That time it worked, as Lottie had nowhere to go.
We got a penalty on Douglass as well. Let's see if Ardmore wants to take it or not. Looks like they're going to push them back.
I think in this weather, you just take every yard you can get.
It's 2nd down and 18 before that play. And they are indeed stepping it off against Douglass. I didn't see the indication, Dean.
Okay, we got holding on the offense.
That's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. You do get the down over. I'm not sure Douglass wants it. I mean, 2nd down and 28 at their own 39-yard line. Lofton splits wide to the right. Mays is in a tight end position on the right side of the field. They hand off to Lewis, and he crosses the 40-yard line, gets some positive ground to the 42.
Lewis, the most elusive back in the Trojans' backfield, a 4.7 40 runner. But in weather like this, you probably won't see a lot of those elusive moves. Tigers playing very, very well defensively here early.
3rd down and 25 coming up for the Trojans.
Anytime you have a lot of stars on your helmet, that's a good sign. Dion Wiggins has a head full of them, doesn't he?
Lofton split wide to the right. Mays is wide to the left. He's trying to get some footing. Taj Johnson is guarding him. Broyles wants to throw. Pumps. Dishes it long. He's got a man open. Adrian Lottie makes the catch. It's going to be down to the 1-yard line. Adrian Lottie ran down the green strip, didn't he?
Great job here by Douglass on 3rd and 25. You would think that Ardmore would be thinking long pass, and that's exactly what Douglass comes at them with. Lottie behind the secondary, a wobbly ball, but it doesn't matter. It's just far enough, and tremendous acceleration by Lottie, who's able to bring it in, and he takes it all the way down to the 1.5-yard line. Big, big play, Douglass.
Execution to perfection there for Douglass. They've got 1st and goal at the 2. Full wishbone attack. Broyles the quarterback. Man, this is fun, folks. Full wishbone attack. 1st and goal at the 2.
Backyard football with helmets.
Keeps. Options. Pitches wide. Adrian Lottie's in the end zone, and Douglass is 1 point away from tying up the ball game.
Douglass had not done anything offensively until the last 2 plays. Perfect execution on the long ball to Lottie, and once again, out of a 2 tight end set, down the line comes Broyles. Perfect execution. Great pitch. Lottie takes it in untouched, and we're 1 point away from a tie ball game.
I can't believe they pitched the football on the 2-yard line on 1st down. I am shocked.
You do what you do best. Stanford White says we throw it best. That's what got them down there. And the second thing they do best is run option football.
I'm not arguing with the results. It certainly worked. Adrian Lottie, who got them down there, also gets the touchdown. And now we'll see if Douglass can tie up the score. Chris Lee, a sophomore, will try to put the 7th point on the board for Douglass. Nothing should be taken for granted in these conditions.
Snaps tough, holds tough.
They're both good. Let's see if the kick is good. No, it is wide to the right. Douglass has marched back with a touchdown. The extra point fails. Ardmore remains in the lead, 7-6.
We'll keep an eye on how many big plays we see in the kicking game. We had the bad snap a moment ago by Ardmore. We have a missed extra point. That's 2. Right now it's 7-6. Ardmore in the lead. 3:12 remaining in the first quarter. Stay with us.
Back live in Stillwater, where the Ardmore Tigers lead the Douglass Trojans 7-6. 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter. If you just joined us, we have miserable playing conditions as the field is blanketed in 2 inches of snow. Douglass is kicking off. Da'Wuan Lawson is the deep back for Ardmore. Let's see if it gets back to him. It does not. Taken by Cole near the 10. He's to the 18, and a big tackle down there by Douglass. Looked like me, like number 11 was the first player down there, Kenyatta Davis. White jerseys were all around the football, and suddenly Ardmore, which had so much momentum, has given up a touchdown and now doesn't have very good field position. Ball resting at the 18-yard line. 4 wide receivers on first down. Jeff Moser is the quarterback. The lone setback is Wiggins. And he's got it on a draw play, stumbles, may have got to the 20.
What you have when you have 2 wide receivers left, 2 wide receivers right, Douglass covering those with 2 defensive men on each side, so it's basically a 7-on-7 game in the middle of the field. Douglass concerned coming in that Ardmore would just ram it down their throats. I know Stanford White, that was the key coming in for him.
Well, when you look at the size matchups, that would be what you would want to do if you're Ardmore, because Douglass is not very big. Up front, they are 225, 195, 200, and 185. Ardmore on the offensive front, 227, 210, 245, 215, 278. And the tight end is 190. High formation for Moser on 2nd down and 8 at the 19. He gives off to Lawson, the man that scored the touchdown. This time he crosses the 20 and gets not much more as Douglass stayed home.
Scales a fine job defensively. Number 2 is the right end. And Lawson unable to get around the left side.
And you can see from that camera angle that is indeed snowing very hard here in Stillwater. It had stopped before game time, but basically what that means is the parts that they've cleaned off won't be cleaned much longer if it continues to snow at this rate. 4 wide receivers for Ardmore. Moser wants to throw, does. And Taj Johnson cannot make his cut, and the ball is thrown incomplete.
Moser knows if he's not going to be on the money there, that he isn't going to be upfield and have a chance of throwing that one for an interception. So he throws it wide right. Not a great ball, but avoiding the turnover nonetheless.
Well, Dion Wiggins will try to punt again last time. The snap was low. He was not able to field it, and Douglass was able to smother him. Wound up taking that possession in for a touchdown. Back for Douglass is Ken Lewis.
Good snap.
Wiggins gets it off. The ball goes almost straight up into the air. Lands in the powder, and Douglass has excellent field position. They'll be at the, help me, Dean, 30-yard line?
Yeah, I was adding up the yardage on the kick. It couldn't have been over 20 yards. What we say, Dale Day keeping stats again with us for the 2nd year. 12-yard kick. 3rd big play in the kicking game.
Looks like it's inside the 30, calling it the 28-yard line. 1st down and 10 at the 28 for Douglass. Wishbone backfield. Both sides jumped. If you're on defense, you can do that as long as you don't touch the offensive player. Let's see exactly what happened here. Adrian Lottie moved for Douglass, and that's what the indication is going to be. A illegal procedure penalty is going to push Douglass back 5 yards. That was a 7-yard punt for Ardmore. So special teams huge here in the 1st quarter. 1:08 to play in our opening period. Ardmore leads at 7-6. You're watching the 5A state title game from Lewis Field in Stillwater.
You know, if you want to get a feeling for what it's like to punt that ball, get a brick and put it in your refrigerator for about 30 minutes, then go outside and kick it around.
It's 1st and 15 for Douglass. This time they have wide receivers right and left. Chris Lofton split wide to the right. Alonzo Mays at the bottom of your screen. They hand off to Lewis, and he's met immediately by number 63, Kyle Richardson.
Kyle Richardson, a move-in from Wichita Falls, Texas, father of physical therapist, and I know that when he moved in, Coach Tipps was pretty excited. He knew that he already had a good ball club, or a great ball club, and Richardson, one of the finest players on his defense, 6'1", 230-pound player.
So it'll be 2nd down and 16 now for Douglass, who really hasn't had any offense except for one play. What a big play that was, a long pass to Adrian Lottie that set up their touchdown. Colston wants to throw on 2nd and long. Does. Throwing deep, and we're going to get a pass interference call against Ardmore.
You might say it was uncatchable, but doesn't matter in this league.
Once again, the Douglass receiver was trying to run down the green strip. Pass interference against Ardmore Tigers. Boy, their crowd doesn't like it at all. They're not very many people, but they sure can make a noise when they want to. And that's an automatic first down.
Defense,
6 seconds left in the first quarter. There you see the penalties so far in this ball game. You know, last year, Dean, when we did the 5A state championship game, there were a lot of penalties. Let's go down to Bob Healy on the sidelines.
You know, if you watch Coach Tipps on the sidelines, he is adamant right now about that last call, the pass interference call, because the pass was not catchable whatsoever, but the officials saying the receiver had him in his grasp, and they've called it now. And he says because of the conditions, they weren't able to throw the ball, weren't able to catch the ball. But obviously, the ball goes over to the Trojans.
Broyles wants to throw, and he's sacked in the backfield. Cody Reese wrapped him up before he could find Alonzo Mays. Mays was kind of strolling across the middle. I'm sure he was going as fast as he could, but it kind of looked like he was in slow motion going through the Ardmore linebackers. That'll bring up 2nd down and 13 after the quarterback sack. The first quarter has come to a close. The Ardmore Tigers lead the Douglass Trojans 7-6. We'll be back with a lot more football. Stay with us.
Class 5A state championship game. We're heading into the second quarter. Ardmore leading Douglass 7-6.
Passing situation for Douglass. They have the lone setback. That is Tony King. 2 wide receivers to the left. They have another slot back. That's Lottie. And then they have Alonzo May split wide to the right. Colston wants to throw. Throws over the middle. Whoa! What an outstanding catch made by Ken Lewis.
What a grab by Lewis. I mean, on a beautiful afternoon, that would have been a spectacular grab, much less in this weather. The toss, a hard, wow.
Unbelievable.
One hand.
Unbelievable catch by Ken Lewis. Ball is down at the 8-yard line. It's 1st and goal. We've just started the second quarter. Douglass trying to take the lead. Mitch Broyles is in at quarterback, full wishbone backfield. He hands off to Lottie. He goes over the left side and is hit by Dion Wiggins. And I think he's going to get credited for a couple of yards.
Lottie off, Colson in at quarterback. Unusual situation. I guess now they send, excuse me, not Lottie, but Mitch Broyles, number 25. I believe Mitch is back in. That's a very unusual situation. Not only do they both wear numbers in the 20s at quarterback, but they're alternating. And Coach Stanford White told me yesterday that the kids get along very well, and that's not been a problem whatsoever. He brought up a good point. He said he's able to bring one of the players off the field, talk to him about what's going on. They can tell him what's going on, and it's better than shuttling in a wide receiver.
He also did that in 1976 when he won the state championship.
Won it all. You bet he did.
2nd down and goal. Ball is at the 3.
Chris Stevenson and Kendall Cudjoe, the quarterbacks back then.
Broyles is the quarterback. Options. Still has it. Still looking for room to run. Ardmore is going to nail him in the backfield. Taj Johnson is in there. And so is Carmel McGee. Carmel McGee back there to make the stop, and that's going to be a big loss.
All right, Mick, now what you've got to do is pitch the ball right there. Mitch Broyles busted. He's got to get the ball pitched off of number 42, Cody Reese. You've got to play assignment football, and no matter what the game, no matter what the elements, you've got to play the percentages, and that was a mistake by Mitch Broyles, and it puts Douglass in a 3rd and 10.
3rd and goal, ball resting out, actually just outside the 10. Full wishbone attack. Colston is in at quarterback. Lofton and Mays playing tight ends. He fakes, play action, wants to throw, has Mays in the end zone. He can't hold on.
Well, that was a well-thrown football. Outstanding job by Mike Colston. Good job by the offensive line, and Mays will catch most of those.
And now we're in that situation where can they kick a field goal? I'm not sure they can. Douglass does not have much of a kicking game when it comes to this.
And this is the specific situation we were speaking of earlier. You have a short field goal attempt, and Douglass opting to go for the 4th down. And if they don't convert, they still have Ardmore backed up some 90 yards from the goal line, so they'll go.
Ardmore leads it 7-6. Trojans trying to get the lead. They'll go for it on 4th and goal at the Ardmore 10. Mitch Broyles is in at quarterback. The lone setback is Lewis. But in the backfield is Dion Wiggins, and Ardmore will take possession.
Wiggins has come on blitzes several times here early in this ball game. That's actually the first time that he's busted loose. Watch him come in between the left guard and the center. Comes through essentially unblocked. Big play for Ardmore. Wiggins, a good football player.
They had 2nd and goal at the 2, and they have turned him around.
Man, he has no sleeves on. He's got to be tough, huh?
So Ardmore takes over 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line. 9:54 to play in the first half. Tigers lead 7-6. Play action pass, and well overthrown as Moser lets it fly.
Johnson that time appeared that he broke off his pattern because there was confusion. Jeff Moser, an accurate thrower, and he seemed like he felt the ball was, or the route was going deeper than Johnson actually ran.
I'm not sure they know where they're going out there. I think there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on. You can't get your footing.
Yeah. Trying to grab the footing, and we'll go down to the sideline in just a moment and check on the footing.
2nd and 10. Moser, draw play. Ball close to the 20-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines and David Bradley.
Thanks a lot. One of the busiest guys in the stadium right now is standing next to me, Tom Erickson. He was an assistant coach for the wrestling team at Oklahoma State last year. He's one of the sweepers that's out there. Whenever you volunteered for help, did you imagine anything like that?
No, I tell you, I woke up this morning. I didn't know there was any snow out there, and I got a call from Tommy Chesbro, who's running the grounds and stuff, and he said, hey, we need some help out here. You need to come out here. Came out here, and I was like, oh, my God. You know, we're just trying to keep the end zone lines swept, you know, keep the sideline swept for the officials and stuff so they can have a good mark on the ball. And
it's a never-ending. Let's go back upstairs.
That's Cole trying to get a first down for Ardmore, and he's pretty close.
May have to measure. Boy, Erickson was a great wrestler, and saw him one day walk into Gallagher-Iba Arena, asked for the basketball. It was before an OSU basketball game. Someone tossed it to him. He goes down and dunks it.
Really?
Yeah, a heavyweight wrestler. Huh? And he can even sweep. I'm talking talent.
Well, Ardmore ran a sweep then. Let's see if they got the first down. It has for the most part stopped snowing. Dean, the snow obviously an indicator here of why the yardage isn't higher.
Total yardage identical, 85 on each side, and coming in, Douglass hoping to throw the ball. Trojans have thrown it for 64 yards to only 2 for Ardmore, but Ardmore with 83 rushing yards. 1 first down for Ardmore. There you see the penalties. Pretty even ball game. 4th and inches, and not a game where you risk anything backed up to what, 27-yard line. You'll kick it.
I guess so, but you know, Ardmore hadn't had much success punting. They didn't get one off, and they only had a 5-yard punt on their other attempt.
As I said, not a game where you gamble, so Ardmore will go for it.
Well, it's 4th down and inches in their own 27, and they're going for it.
Look at the Trojans digging in, pulling out the snow.
Trying to draw them off sides.
May have.
Yeah, I thought Ardmore may have moved too.
Of course, now the defense can jump as long as they don't make the contact. It looked like Ardmore may have been the team that jumped, although they're going to mark it off against Douglass.
I guess it's possible that Ardmore wasn't even going to snap it. They may have been just trying to draw them off sides, and if they couldn't, then they would have just moved it back 5 yards and try to punt. But as it is, Douglass has been drawn off sides. I guess he made contact. That's the only ruling I can think, because it looked like he got back. First down for Ardmore. They're at the 31-yard line.
Brings up the question, if Ardmore had not gotten Douglass to jump, would they have punted? I guess possibly so. We won't know.
Power I formation for the Tigers. Moser pitches wide. And Cole crosses the 30. Let's see it. He gets to the 33-yard line. See the play here again. That could have been Da'Wuan Lawson. Moser pitches back. Nice camera work there, and it is Da'Wuan Lawson who was able to get a little bit of yardage in the inside. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. 7:45 to play first half. Ardmore leading Douglass 7-6. for the state 5A championship. Marcus Banks splits wide to the left. 3 running backs behind Moser, who has no tight end. Moser hands off to Wiggins, who crosses the linebackers and moves up to the 40-yard line. Somebody tripped him up and he fell forward for an additional 2 or 3 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Ardmore, an explosive offense. They've been averaging almost 300 yards per game. Let's go down to the sidelines with Bob Healy. Bob?
You know, Dean, one of the problems here is just staying warm. At the start of the game, Douglass at least had some heaters on their side. Finally, someone, we don't know who, has brought over these portable heaters here. And the players have been gathering around them, been between plays, just trying to stay warm. They say their feet are cold. Footing's not bad, though, the players tell me, as long as they step high and try to not slide through the stuff, all the bad snow and everything. Back to you guys.
Wiggins has stormed through the Trojan defense for a 1st down.
I think we'll know where to find Bob when we go back down. Don't you?
Just look by the heaters?
Yeah. Big conversion there from Ardmore. 2 consecutive series. The Tigers have been in 3rd down situations as Douglass calls a timeout. Wiggins off to a great start here this afternoon.
We'll be back. Ardmore leads Douglass 7-6. Trying to turn the corner, spun around and down. Lawson had 78 yards entering that carry, and he'll be the first guy to reach that 80-yard mark if he can pick up a couple.
But great job there by Alonzo Mays. Watch the left defensive end, number 85. We talk about him as a tight end, as a receiver, but some colleges think that he will be a dynamic down lineman. He says, I want a shot at tight end, guys. Don't be putting me in a down position yet, but he'll be playing somewhere if he keeps his grades in order. He's certainly a good athlete. 6'4", 225-pound senior.
Excellent strength there to throw Lawson to the ground.
4-year starter for Douglass.
2nd down and 7. Ardmore running wide to the left. Will be short of the 1st down, but they cross the 50. It's going to bring up 3rd down and short. We got a timeout on the field. Let's go down to David Bradley.
Douglass, of course, having success throwing the ball. We wondered about it on a day like today, but both of the Douglass quarterbacks, Broyles and Colston, both say it's no big deal. They're able to hold on to the football. It's not unusually heavy. They have different attacks, too, because Colston wears gloves, Broyles doesn't. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thanks. I don't know about that, saying it's not a factor. We had one slip out earlier. They had when they've had protection, though, in a dry ball, they've been able to get it deep. If you can keep a ball dry on a day like this, you have a big advantage in throwing.
3rd down and almost a full yard to go for Ardmore.
3rd straight series, Mick, that Ardmore has been in a 3rd down situation. They've converted the previous 2.
See what Ronnie Tipps and staff have in mind for his tier.
Actually converted a 4th on the 1st series of this drive.
3rd down, less than a yard. Moser wants to throw. It does. Taj Johnson's got the football at the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Ardmore. No flags on the field.
What a call by Ronnie Tipps and his staff. I mean, you got to have a lot of confidence in your quarterback, which they do, and Jeff Moser. You got to believe your wide receiver can get open, which they do believe Taj Johnson can do. A little takeoff route. 3-step drop. Gets rid of it quickly. The ball's on the money. Taj Johnson behind the defender. Perfectly thrown ball. Big play, Ardmore.
Score is 13-6.
I think the logic being there, if the ball is incomplete, you got a 4th and short, you go for it anyway. But a tremendous play by Ardmore.
Great call. Vasquez will now try to add the point after. And it's good. Ardmore has jumped in front 14-6. 5:31 to play in the 1st half. We'll be back from Lewis Field in Stillwater.
Yards in 10 plays, consumes 4 minutes 19 seconds. Johnson receives the 47-yard pass from Moser on a 3rd and short, Mick, and the Tigers take a 14-6 lead.
This is the kind of game that sportscasters love because there's lots of big plays to show in the highlights. 3 big plays for both teams. And those 3 plays have turned into the 3 touchdowns. Douglass actually had to convert 1 play after the big play. But still, 3 big plays have led to our 3 touchdowns. Douglass having trouble getting footing at the ball at the 20 and out to the 23-yard line goes Chris Long.
I think you can tell by just a few of the big plays we've had what talented athletes there are out here this afternoon and what big plays we're missing because of the snow. We still had some big plays, a bobble here, but still a fine job in recovering for Chris Long, who will break about 3 tackles and does a good job in getting it out to the 23-yard line.
Clock moving, 5:20 to play in the first half.
Stopped there by Marcus Banks for Ardmore.
Ardmore had 14-6. No wide receivers for Douglass on first down. 2 tight ends, Lofton and Mays. Lottie gets the handoff. May have picked up a little bit of ground. Let's go down the sidelines and get Bob Healy's attention. Bob?
Yeah, Dean, we were talking with Jeff Moser, the quarterback for Ardmore, and he says the ball's not bothering you very bad, is it at all?
No, sir, it's not much of a factor. They've been rotating balls in every time. It's a little hard, but it's not making that much of a difference.
Tell me about the TD pass real quick.
Oh, it was great. Tosh's ability is just awesome, and it was kind of an adjustment route. He either ran that route or a slant pattern, and it comes out that he knew he could beat him, and he did.
All right, good job. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Smart quarterback, quick release for Moser. He's a quality high school player as Douglass play clock down to 1. A wise move there by Mitch Broyles in calling timeout with 4:25 remaining here in the second.
Well, Dean, if I'm Douglass, I don't think I give up on the pass. They've had great success, but what they've seen is that it's the big plays that are going to make you some touchdowns. I'm not sure you can have one of those 12-play, 80-yard drives and be able to count on it working.
I think that's what most high school coaches tell you. If they can avoid giving up the big play, it's really difficult at any level of football, but certainly at this level for a team to take it 80 or 85 yards without turning the ball over or without being stopped. Douglass, interestingly enough, has gone back to its 2 tight end formation. They normally do not run that 2 tight end unless they're in goal line situations, but Stanford White opting to do that here on in this series early.
I think you look for the wide receiver that lines up on the green strip and can get his defender to not be able to run on that strip. And I think you've probably got a 2-yard advantage every 10 yards you run. If you just joined us, it's 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first half. Ardmore leads Douglass 14-6. This is the 5A state title game from Lewis Field in Stillwater. And there you see some tremendous rushing statistics for Ardmore. Douglass has had trouble. Douglass's really only offensive play of note was a long pass to Adrian Lottie. 2nd down and 9. Lottie in motion. Broyles wants to throw. Slips and is going to go down inside the 20. Daniel Mealy back there along with Eric Agers.
Mealy did a good job of just hanging on for dear life. Watch Mealy, number 56, as he tries to beat the center. Broyles back in the pocket. Looking downfield, Mealy grabs hold of the left foot and won't let go. Holding on for dear life. Mitch says, I think I'll go down.
It'll bring up 3rd down and 15 for Douglass. This time, Chris Lofton splits wide to the left. Adrian Lottie next to him wide left. Mays, the tight end to the near side. He's gone out as well. Colston wants to throw. Can't find anybody open. Agers has him around the foot, but he throws an incompletion downfield.
Nice job by Colston in getting the ball downfield, and I guess in the NFL they would have called that one in the grasp. But good job of putting pressure on the quarterback. And if Douglass continues to put itself in 3rd and long situations, you're going to see Ardmore come at them defensively as they do on this one. Watch as Colston goes back to throw. They roll him a little semi roll to the left. And maybe the ball isn't slick, but the weather conditions really hampering anything you try to do, especially here in the passing game.
Douglass in punt formation from their own 19. They get the punt away. Da'Wuan Lawson was deep. The ball never got to him, and Ardmore will take over at about the 40-yard line. Not a day to build your punting stats, Dean.
No, not going to get much of a roll here this afternoon. Ardmore looking to go for the jugular, up 8 points. wanting to knock this one in to make it a 21-6 game at the half.
Ball being spotted at the 39-yard line in Douglass territory. Ardmore splits Marcus Banks wide to the right. Taj Johnson in the slot position on the left. I formation behind Moser. Johnson goes in motion. Lewis follows him. Moser to throw on first down. Throws it over the middle, and it's intercepted. Mitch Broyles has made the interception at the 10-yard line, and Douglass has the turnover. Hands off up the middle to King, and he gets nowhere as Ricardo Gonzalez meets him at the line of scrimmage.
Linebacker Eric Agers, 40, coming on the blitz. Douglass will audible out of plays 15 to 20% of the time, and this is one where you think you might want to audible out of it because you go right into the teeth of the defense.
Ricardo Gonzalez, 265-pound senior.
Great body leverage. Gonzalez, one of the finest defensive players for Ardmore. Runner-up wrestler last year in the state meet.
Second down, just over 10 yards to go. Lofton is split wide to the right, or wide to the left. Mays is split wide to the right. Wishbone attack, and King has it. He's nailed by Dion Wiggins. Ardmore calls a timeout.
Watch 44, Dion Wiggins, a 3-year starter. Every defensive team has a bell cow, a captain, someone who calls the signals, and the player that is looked up to by everyone on the team, and the guy for Ardmore defensively, number 44, Dion Wiggins.
It's going to be 3rd down and 7 for Douglass.
Another look at it here. Watch 44 come up. Gets a little help from Jeremy Gay.
He's got more stars than the United States flag. The Douglass sidelines.
Douglass has to be thinking that trying to figure out ways to get their quarterbacks out of the pocket a little bit, buy a little bit more time, because they've had pressure on them here in the second quarter and have not really had an opportunity to use their 2 great receivers.
It was Mitch Broyles on the sidelines for Douglass. Douglass has a lot of big play potential, and they'll need some here. 3rd down and 7. The ball is at their own 13-yard line. Ardmore has used one of its timeout. They have 2 remaining with 1:52 to play.
Potential's the key word there. Lofton and Mays have been non-factors offensively for Douglass. Ardmore doing a great job of containing them.
Will hold on. Mays is split wide to the right. Lofton split wide to the left.
You know something I don't?
King is the lone setback behind Colston, who wants to throw. Does. And Tony King, or actually Ken Lewis, was the intended receiver diving forward. Lofton over there too. They almost pulled that one off on 3rd down and long. But it's going to bring up a punting situation for the Trojans, and 1:46 remain in the first half.
There you see the slick field really hampering the receivers and trying to bust out. Ardmore playing back deep. You see Lawson there on the corner. Cooper, number 10, on the inside receiver. King in good position. Ball overthrown by about a yard.
Pretty close. Douglass to punt. Mitch Broyles will do those duties. Snap is back. He gets it off. And once again, there will be no return. And the ball will settle between the 30 and the 40-yard line. So Ardmore will have some time, 1:34, and some field position. Ball being placed at about the 34. Let's see if they try to put some more points on the board before we go to halftime.
It's been a well-played game. We've only had the 3 errors in the kicking game that Early in the ball game, we thought we might have a lot more. Thought those would be the critical plays, and they still probably will be before this thing's over. But a well-played game under the conditions.
Marcus Banks is split wide to the right. Bobby Cole split wide to the left. Taj Johnson in motion, and Moser's looking his way. Throws. Ball is batted into the air and incomplete. I think Alonzo Mays got a hand on it.
Ardmore deciding to go up top. I know they only have 1:15, so they're wanting to take advantage of what little time is left. But after they hit the touchdown pass to Johnson, they've really come out throwing.
1:15 to play. Tigers have 2 timeouts remaining.
Moser, a good-looking quarterback back there, passer. Looks really comfortable in the pocket. Quick release. Holds it high.
It's 2nd and 10. Moser, draw play to Wiggins. And once again, the Douglass linebacker stays home. Mark Lyon comes in low and makes the stop. 1:03. Let's see if Ardmore's going to burn a timeout.
Mark Lyon on the stop. What's his nickname, Mick?
I'm not.
Psycho.
Oh. Thought maybe it was I'm not Lyon.
No, it's Psycho. Really a competitor. Maybe the best defensive player on this squad. That's saying a lot for Stanford White's club. Really a talented defense.
3rd down. Let's call it 8. Moser speaking to his backs. Turns out and pitches it wide to Cole. Hurdles a tackler, but Alonzo Mays runs him down at the line of scrimmage. "25 seconds and counting in the 2nd quarter, and I don't think Ardmore wants to stop it.
Ardmore more than likely will get off one more snap before this is done. Try to get the ball into the end zone. 10 seconds remaining, and they may not even, I think they're content just to go to the halftime locker room leading 14-6. A little surprise.
That's going to do it. Ardmore will take a 14-6 lead into the locker room. You're watching the Class 5A state championship game from Stillwater, where Ardmore leads Douglass by 8 points at halftime.
Live from Stillwater, this is the Oklahoma 5A State High School Football Championship with the Ardmore Tigers versus Oklahoma City Douglass. It's brought to you by Total Petroleum, makers of fine Abco, Vickers, and Roadrunner gasolines.
Welcome back, everyone. We're at halftime of the Oklahoma Class 5A State Championship game. Ardmore leads Oklahoma City Douglass by 8, 14-6 at the half. I'm Matt Scales, along with Sherman High running back coach Kyle O'Quinn. And coach, the first thing we want to talk about is the weather in Stillwater.
It's tough. The snow, there is 2 or 3 inches of snow, and there's been a concern as far as the footing, what type of shoe to wear. Different players have tried tennis shoes. They've gone to the cleated shoe also, and it really doesn't seem to be a problem because there's not any sleet. It's just soft snow, and the players that they've talked to on the sidelines said it's not really a factor as far as holding on to the ball or the footing.
What's the thing that surprised you most about this game?
I would probably have to say the inability of Douglass to run the football. They've only had 15 yards rushing. Ardmore's defense has played extremely well. Other than the big play that they gave up on 3rd and 25, they almost have totally shut down Douglass.
Let's go ahead and see if we can take a look at some of the first half highlights. As you see there, everybody clearing off the snow. The bad footing on this play, just like we mentioned, Coach. And here's the first score of the game, a 69-yard touchdown run by Da'Wuan Lawson.
Exactly. What they ran the counter sweep there as far as a misdirection play, because I'm sure they're concerned with Douglass's speed. I think everyone on the defensive side of the ball runs 4.9 or better, and they just faked a dive to Wiggins and ran the counter sweep back to Lawson. And of course, you see his outstanding speed as he got on the perimeter, and a great run.
Douglass has tried to throw the ball a few times, and this obviously is what happens when you try to throw the football.
Exactly. That surprised me that they came out trying to throw deep. Obviously, they got a big touchdown pass here, but they came out throwing the long ball early. And Ardmore is so far backed off, I would have thought they tried to throw short first and get the running game going here. You see a good run down on the goal line, but Ardmore has done a great job defensively.
That was Adrian Lottie scoring the touchdown for Douglass. Look at this catch right here by Ken Lewis.
Great reception. I tell you, any level, pro, college, that's just a great high school catch.
Here's Jeff Moser to Taj Johnson for the Tigers' second touchdown of the game, putting them up 14-6.
Well, they had a read out there. I think he had the ability to run a slant route or the fade route, depending on what type of coverage he got. And he got a hard corner out there and decided to run the fade pattern, and just showed a great athletic ability.
You know, on the offensive side of the ball, turnovers obviously going to be a big key in this ball game, but also extra points are going to be something big. We saw the Trojans miss their first extra point.
The kicking game, exactly. Now, they're in a situation now that they have to score and go for 2. Coach Tipps made a good decision before the game started that he won the toss, did not defer, he decided to kick off, tried to let Douglass make a mistake. It's going to be interesting to see what Coach White will do the second half. Will he decide to kick off and let his defense play to get good field position, or will he take the ball and try to go get a score? But Douglass is, there's no need to panic there. You know, there's plenty of time. They can establish a drive. I think he might try to come back and rush the football. He hadn't had the ability to do that, and I know coming into the game that's their strength, and I would think he would try to go back to that.
All right, let's take a quick break here, and when we'll come back, we'll take a look at some of the defensive highlights from the first half. So stay with us.
Stand by.
Welcome back, everyone. We're at halftime of the Oklahoma State Class 5A football championship. Ardmore leading Oklahoma City Douglass by a score of 14-6. And Coach O'Quinn, on the defensive side of the football, Ardmore's doing a pretty good job of controlling the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. The guys up front have put pressure. The times that Douglass has tried to throw the football, he's had people all around him. He made a great throw down the seam, like we said, on 3rd and 25. But the guys up front are really controlling the line of scrimmage. And, of course, Wiggins made a big play down on the goal line when it looked like Douglass was going in to score. They had 2nd and goal from the 2, and they made a big stand and ended up holding them, and that's when they had their drive of 85 yards. So.
We're talking about the line of scrimmage. In 3 or 4 inches of snow, offensive and defensive linemen can't get very good footing, so that's a big factor in this game.
Exactly, and Douglass's size, offensively, they're huge on the line, and they thought that would be an advantage for them to be able to move the guys out there and they could rush the football. But like you said, they got 3 first downs and 10 yards rushing, so the defensive staff has got to be extremely happy for Ardmore.
Are you surprised we haven't seen more turnovers in this ballgame, more fumbles?
I would have thought so. You know, you usually talk about the big play winning games. I would have thought coming in it would have been the team that eliminated the mistakes, but there hadn't been any real big turnovers that have caused or resulted in any points, but it has been the big play on both sides of football that have resulted in the scoring.
Well, if we can, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the defensive highlights from the first half of this ball game. As we mentioned, big hit right here by Eric Agers, 240-pound junior linebacker. Then another big tackle by Cody Colbert. So as we mentioned, Ardmore controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're having a tough time of rushing the football. They're trying to make the quarterback pitch the ball as much as possible. They've decided to take that away from them on the option game and maybe try to get Douglass to make a mistake to pitch it on the ground, but so far they have not.
This is the shuttle pass. Brian Cooper coming up with the big hit as Ardmore recovers a fumble. Couldn't do anything with it, though, as we will see right here on a punt attempt by Ardmore. Dion Wiggins fumbles the bad snap. That's also a big concern in this game.
Exactly. That would drive you crazy. I would have thought that Douglass had an opportunity there. They held him after the turnover, which that's what you want to do defensively. They went 3 and out, but could not take advantage of it offensively.
Do you think kids playing in this kind of weather, intimidating, it's cold, big hits, you get stung a little bit, you don't want to run as hard? We're talking about 17, 16, 18-year-old kids here.
But I would think, you know, state championship game, these guys are, you know, this is what they worked all for, the off-season, all the hours that they put in. No, I think right now the emotion part of it, that you're so excited to be in that situation that you just block all those factors out.
If you're Ardmore defensive coordinator Drew Young, are you a little shocked that Douglass has thrown the ball as much as they have?
I would have thought, going into the game as well as they rushed the football, I would have thought that he would have tried to come out and establish the run, maybe throw some stuff short and then go deep. But they came out throwing the deep ball right off the bat, and it hadn't been a factor. They hadn't completed one other than the big touchdown.
Okay, let's go into the locker rooms. Your coach Ronnie Tipps, you're up in the state championship game 14-6. What do you tell your team? What kind of steps do you go through? What would John Outlaw tell his team?
Well, you just have to go back out, and maintain your intensity. They played great. They're in a good situation. I would try to eliminate the mistakes, play the kicking game, play your percentages as far as they're able to rush the football right now, and they're playing great defense. So I would try to make Douglass is the one that's going to have to make the pressure play, and I would just try to force them into a mistake and not give up the big play.
Okay, we'll go into the Douglass locker room. On the other side, what do you tell your kids? You've played not that great. You had one big play. You don't even have more than 20 yards rushing in this ball game, but you're still in it. What do you say?
Right, exactly. Well, what they had to do offensively, they've not done anything. They need to go back and establish and try to control the line of scrimmage, rush the football. Like I said, they're only one score down. There's no reason to panic. You know, they don't have to come out and throw the football. There's plenty of time left in the game. They just need to go back to what they do best, and I think it is rushing the football, and they got to get some confidence. They hadn't had any first downs. They need to try to get some first downs right off the bat, and they'll be all right. I look forward to being an interesting second half. And
well, what about Ardmore? They decided to kick at the beginning of the game. Will they do the same here?
Well, like I said before, they won the toss and decided to kick off. So Coach White for Douglass, it's going to be his choice, and I would think that's going to be interesting to see. That's a tough choice. Defense has played well enough. I look for him maybe to kick off and play defense and try to get good field position.
If Ardmore comes out and gets a quick score in the second half, third quarter, do you look for him to maybe sit on the ball, a little ball control, because the weather's probably going to get worse?
Right, exactly. You know, of course, Wiggins, the big running back, I would think if they do get a two touchdown lead, that they'll come back and try to just move the football and play field position. You know, let his kicking game and defense win the game for him.
Okay, Coach O'Quinn, I appreciate you coming in this afternoon. For Coach Kyle O'Quinn, I'm Matt Scales. We will send you back to Stillwater in just a few moments after we have this break. Well, they tell us we're not ready to go back to Stillwater just yet. Matt Scales along with Sherman Bearcat coach Kyle O'Quinn. Let's look at some of the halftime. Nope, we can't look at some of the halftime stats. But what we can tell you is Ardmore has been dominating the line of scrimmage except for one pass play, Coach. Going through Ardmore's season, they started out the year #1 in the state. They've been #1 for 13 weeks. It comes down to this ball game. Is that a lot of pressure for a lot of young kids?
Well, you know, a lot of times you put pressure on yourself. Like you said, they've been #1 all season long, and of course everybody plays the best game against you when you're ranked #1. No, I would think, you know, they're in a situation where they're in control of the game. They just have to go out and do the things that they do best and eliminate the mistakes, and they'll be fine.
I guess it's a shame this game has to be played in the snow because these two teams obviously have a lot of speed.
Exactly. I was really excited about this when I looked at it on paper, that it's much team speed that both of them have, and you can even see it on the big plays in the snow. But it would be a great game if they did have dry surface to show talent, all the great speed.
Ardmore hasn't played Oklahoma City Douglass in a couple of years, but still the familiarity with playing them before helps out in this game. It also helps out Douglass.
Exactly. Both of them have been in big playoff games. Of course, 1990 Ardmore won the state championship. Coach White won one in '76, so he's familiar with it. And you got a lot of tradition and a lot of talent, so it makes for a great situation.
Coach Ronnie Tipps, obviously with a great tradition. He tells his kids in the locker room, like we stated earlier, you go out, get a quick touchdown, then you just give the ball to the big guy, Dion Wiggins, and you burn the clock.
Exactly. You know, like you say, if they can go down and get a score, they're in a situation where they're putting pressure on Douglass to have to come back. They're 2 scores down. They're going to have to do something quick. That would be the key. If they could get one more score and then, like you say, ball control and try to rush the football.
If you're Douglass, do you start tackling the football? You don't panic, though, do you?
No, you do not panic. They're in a great situation. It's just going to be interesting to see, do they play defense first or offense. But if they do kick the ball off, they need to go down and 3 and out, get good field position, and try to go in and score.
The Trojans are doing something a little bit different. They're alternating quarterbacks. But in this game, if one gets hot, do you go ahead and leave him in?
That's a tough situation. They've done it all year long. They feel comfortable doing it. You would think with the weather maybe that there'd be a chance for mistake. They've handled the ball well. Some coaches tend to do it. They like to do it every play because they feel like they got communication with the coach when he comes to the sideline. He can talk to the quarterback that's off the field, and they can make adjustments. So I look for them to stay with what they've done all year. I think they'll continue to alternate.
Are you a little bit surprised, because you and I mentioned this when we first started watching the game, they have not cleared off the field totally. They've just cleared off the every 10 yards and the sidelines. So you would have thought with this kind of game they'd have tried to clear the whole field completely.
Right. I don't know the situation. I don't know if they had a machine or what they were doing to try to clear the surface. It's continuing to snow, so I think as the game progresses, it's even going to cover the part that they have done. But footing doesn't seem to be a problem. You know, the kids talked about there's 2 or 3 inches, and they have to really be cautious of lifting their knees to clear. You know, you're talking 2 or 3 inches, so you have to pick your knees up a little bit higher. And there's been a couple times that the kids have been out and open, looked like it was going to be a big play, and they just the snow was a factor in tackling.
I tell you what, a lot of Ardmore fans could not make it to Stillwater for this football game, but Stuart McKenzie has been at the Pink Moose, and he has an update on what's been going on there.
While the weather outside is frightful, inside here at the Pink Moose Cafe in Ardmore, it is very delightful, especially if you're an Ardmore Tiger fan. Tigers are up 14-6 at halftime, and the fans were liking what they were seeing. Many of them couldn't get to Stillwater because of the dreadful conditions Mother Nature served up, but they are liking what they were seeing, and we'll continue to tell you more about the fans' reactions to the game, and we'll have a full report on the 12 News late edition. Reporting from Ardmore, Stuart McKenzie for Channel 12 News.
Thanks a lot, Stu, and that's just about all the time we have on this halftime report. For Coach Kyle O'Quinn, I'm Matt Scales. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the second half as Ardmore leads Oklahoma City Douglass by a score of 14-6. We'll take you back to Stillwater after these messages.
.95, 4 first downs each. Pretty well played ball game. 7 penalties in it, 1 turnover each. Time of possession about equal.
Dion Wiggins has been the workhorse for Ardmore. He's playing well on offense and defense.
He really is. Number 44 or number
that's it.
Yeah, 44. He has been a dominant player. He would have been regardless of the weather. But talking to some of the coaches during the halftime, Mick, I think they were very concerned about the playing conditions, really wishing that they really didn't have to play today. But the facts are they do have to play. They want to get out there in the second half and make something happen. If Ardmore scores a touchdown, it may be a lead that Douglass will have a lot of trouble overcoming.
Okay, well, we'll be back with more of the 5A state championship game. Second half kickoff coming up. Stay with us.
Live from Stillwater, this is the Oklahoma 5A State High School Football Championship with the Ardmore Tigers versus Oklahoma City Douglass. It's brought to you by Total Petroleum, makers of fine Abco, Vickers, and Roadrunner gasolines.
Ready for the second half kickoff. Douglass set to receive. That's a look at Stanford White, the coach of Douglass. And Mick, I'm sure he's a little concerned because this is an outstanding Ardmore club and a team in Douglass that wanted to throw the ball this afternoon.
Chris Long bobbles the football, picks it up at the 18-yard line, got a little bit of room outside the 20 to the 30. Got a big block from Mays and gets close to midfield. Chris Long with a nice kickoff return to start the second half, and Douglass quickly has something to cheer about. Ardmore had won the toss at the beginning of the game. They decided to kick off. Douglass wanted the football. There you see Chris Long.
Long, a nice move, and they will call this one back because of a penalty, but a nice move up the boundary by Chris Long. He's almost going over there to the sideline, make to grab some of that green turf to get a little traction, but this one will be called back, and instead of Douglass starting it out 1st and 10 around midfield, they will have it, what is that, the 34-yard line?
Beats me. Yeah, it's close to that anyway.
They have about 2/3 of the field to go.
I'm just glad to see someone else have to guess where they are. Okay, let's call it the 32. Douglass, with their wishbone attack, has first down there. The penalty cost them about 18 yards. Royals hands off up the middle, and I believe that was Lottie who took it over the left side and may have gotten a yard.
Douglass wants to come out here early in the second half and establish control of the line of scrimmage. They did not do that in the first half. Ardmore controlled the line of scrimmage, controlled the first half, and controls the scoreboard right now.
Second down and 8 for Douglass. And the officials have called a stoppage of play. I think there's a little bit of an equipment problem with an Ardmore player. You can see that they had I would say mowed strips, but they didn't mow them. They came out here and swept them away, swept some of the snow off. And really, I'm not sure that footing is much better than the rest of the field now because it has been snowing periodically throughout the game, and those lines are starting to disappear. If you just joined us, it is a very miserable day to be a high school football fan because they have called off several of the state championship games that were scheduled for today. They will be rescheduled, but we don't have dates as of yet. But the 5A game is on. Broyles wants to throw. He's looking for Lofton. There he takes off the run into the secondary. Mitch Broyles with a first down for the Trojans.
Number 25, Mitchell Broyles on the keeper for Douglass. On the snap of the Tigers, number 12 for Da'Wuan.
Nice job here of protecting for Mitch Broyles, and what this does make the longer Broyles has to hold the ball with the receivers going deep, it just opens up the lane. Broyles is able to bust it up the middle. The elusive junior just takes up straight up the hash mark there and is able to pick up how many? A bunch.
Look at about 20 yards. Ball is in the 47-yard line now in Ardmore territory. Inside handoff to Lottie. He's into the secondary, and it's another Trojan first down.
3 big plays here to start the third quarter for Douglass with a kickoff return that was called back to penalty. The big scramble from Broyles, and then this one from Lottie. Up the middle, a little crossbuck. Trap play goes for big yardage, and Douglass has it 1st and 10.
Douglass working quickly, and who can blame them? They've taken the momentum here, though they trail in the ball game 14-6. We've just started the third quarter. Mitch Broyles is in at quarterback. He might be changing the play. Lofton split wide to the right. Mays split wide to the left. He wants to throw. Ball is loose, and it's picked off. Ball is taken by Cody Reese. Reese is in the clear. He's going to score a touchdown for Ardmore.
If Ardmore wins this game, that will be the play they will look back at. Douglass driving, Broyles seemingly having time, but no, he gets hit from behind. Ball pops up, Cody Reese picks it off, and he will go the distance.
Was not sure who made the hit for Ardmore. We can take another look at that play and see who was being credited with knocking the ball free. It is a touchdown. It was a penalty against Douglass on the play, but it's going to be 6 points for Ardmore, and they will now be leading 20-6.
Ardmore came with the blitz once again, and Douglass, for the most part, has handled it fairly well. They pick up number 44. You saw Dion Wiggins being flipped, but on the other side, they couldn't pick up the other blitzing Ardmore player. And he put the pressure on Broyles, who had to cough it up.
It's a touchdown.
Big play in Cody Reese.
Thomas Vasquez trying to put his 3rd extra point of the day on the board. It's down in good shape. His kick is good enough, and the Tigers lead 21-6. We'll be back with more of the 5A state championship game from Stillwater. Ardmore leads Douglass 21-6 in the third quarter.
Cody Reese has gone 65 yards with an interception. Ardmore on top, 21-6. Douglass set to receive its 2nd kickoff here early in third quarter.
Well, Douglass had some momentum. Let's see if they can get it back. Tomas Vasquez will be kicking off for Ardmore, and deep is Chris Long and Adrian Lottie. It's a short kick taken by Long at the 20, and he falls down after crossing the 20 and getting to the 23-yard line. First Ardmore play to him was Ricky Smith, 5'9" senior. 10 minutes and 3 seconds left in the third quarter. Douglass will try to recapture the momentum they had until a big defensive play by Ardmore sent Cody Reese running into the end zone with an interception. Wishbone attack for Douglass. Lofton is split wide to the left. Ball is given off to Lottie, and he's met at the line of scrimmage. He'll get nowhere. Red shirts all over the place, and I think Cody Reese may have been the first one to meet him. Second down and 9 coming up for Douglass. Douglass changing quarterbacks every play. That's how Stanford White shuttles the plays in and out using a 2-quarterback system. And it's good news for Douglass fans that both of those players are underclassmen and will return to the Trojan camp next year. That's Lofton split wide to the left. Broyles hands off to Lewis, who gets short yardage, maybe a pickup of 2 or 3. Wiggins with the stop. Third down, we'll call it 6. 8:45, clock moving. Douglass working quickly.
If Douglass ever needed a big play, it would be now. 3rd and 9, trailing 21-6.
Wide receivers all over the place. Tony King, the lone setback, behind Colston. Colston changing the play. Wiggins is blitzing. Colston still has it on a quarterback draw. Crosses the 30. And
Big play.
It'll be a first down as Colston, Mike Colston, 5'10", 180-pound sophomore, moves the chain for Douglass.
Well, nice play here. Quarterback draw by Colston. Almost falls down in the backfield because of the treacherous footing, but runs through a couple of tackles here. And nice, Dion Wiggins is probably the most impressive player on the field, but he's unable to grab Colston, who converts a 3rd and 9.
Nice tackle by Jeremy Gay. May have kept Colston from going the distance. First down for Douglass, where the officials are surely having to substitute those footballs in and out. You mentioned the lot of pressure being put on your trainers and your managers. They're the ones that are having to clean those footballs, get them as dry as possible, and give their quarterback something to hold on to. 4 wide receivers for Broyles. He wants to throw. Does. Out of the hands of Chris Lofton.
You know, we got a report earlier that the weather was not a factor. I guarantee you in that situation, you have Lofton open by 5 yards. You're going to see that ball completed 90% of the time in good weather. So obviously it's affecting the passing game a great deal.
Lofton, probably an all-state wide receiver, has yet to catch a pass today. 7:56 to play, 3rd quarter. Tigers lead the Trojans 21-6. Douglass has moved the ball near midfield. It's 2nd and 10. Colston drops back. He throws. Has Lofton near the first down, and he gets away. Chris Lofton has gotten away. 2 Tigers trying to catch him, and he's finally pulled down by Da'Wuan Lawson. But what a big play by Chris Lofton. Boy, Dean, I just moments ago said he hadn't caught a pass all day, and he almost breaks free for a touchdown.
He converts this one, an outstanding grab to start with for the 6'2", 185-pound senior. But watch the strength. Goes up high, is able to grab it, breaks through 2 defenders' tackles, make that 3. A tremendous play by Chris Lofton.
Big time play.
Almost goes the distance.
First down and 10. Ball is at the 20. Inside handoff to King. He struggles forward and gets a couple of hard-fought yards.
Number 21, Tony King for the Trojans.
Stanford White, coming into the season, felt this might be his best team ever. He's coached some good ones. He said in preseason evaluations, they always look at players and they say, could these guys play on any team in the state? He said during his best years, he had 6 or 7 players that could have played for any team in the state. He felt this year, before the season started, he had 7 or 8, so he was cautiously optimistic.
I noticed Taj Johnson in the game for Ardmore. He is one-on-one coverage with Alonzo Mays and switched sides that time to get that matchup. Broyles is trying to roll out, slips, throws, a diving catch is made. Penalty flag is down also. Let's see who made that catch. It was Lofton again, was it not? Chris Lofton.
Looked like there was some movement up front, and these conditions are just so bad. It is, watch the, trying to roll out here. Colston does a good job of just keeping his footing.
Big block by Tony King.
But watch this. I mean, just an athletic move and staying on his feet, is able to somehow get the ball out to Lofton, who makes an outstanding grab. But a penalty will go against Douglass. Take that one back.
Carmel McGee was defending on Lofton that time. It was 2nd down and 9. Douglass will be sent back. Broyles comes into the game.
We have motion on the offense.
Signal calling for this play. It's 21-9. Ardmore leading Douglass.
5-yard penalty makes it 2nd down and 14.
2nd down and 13. Ball is at the 23-yard line. Lone setback is Tony King behind Broyles. He has 3 wide receivers and Lewis in the slot. Broyles wants to throw. Has some time, lets it fly, throws it low, probably threw it away. Chris Lofton may have wanted an interference call. He won't get it, and it'll bring up 3rd and long.
Unable to see Ken Lewis, who was along the Douglass sideline. He had come underneath, and he was wide open, but he was unable to be spotted, and that'll bring up another big 3rd down for the Trojans.
Well, the snow's coming down harder now than it has since I've been here. I got here pretty darn early. Not as early as much of our crew, but That seemed early. 3rd down and 13. 6:24 to play, 3rd quarter. Douglass trying to move. They trail by 15 points. Colston is in at quarterback. 3 wide receivers. A slot back in motion. He wants to throw. And it's batted down. Eric Agers, the linebacker, moves over, gets his left hand in front of the ball, and Lofton cannot catch it.
Good coverage that time by McGee and the entire secondary for Ardmore, as we'll take one more look at it. Colston back, great protection, but tremendous coverage, and Colston has nowhere to go with this football. Batted down by Agers, brings up a 4th down.
4th down and 13. No chance Douglass will do anything but go for it here. At the top of your screen, you see Alonzo May splitting out right. He's a blue chipper. So's the guy guarding him, Taj Johnson. 4th and 13. Broyles lets it fly. And it's batted away by the 2 guys I just talked about. Mays went up, Johnson got there and knocked the ball away.
Good job by Johnson in recovering, but it sure looked like for a moment that play was open. And again, we'll take a look at it here. On a dry day, I think you have a chance here to complete this ball. Broyles unable to hold the ball very well with it being slick and cold. He doesn't get the ball thrown as low and as hard as he would like. And by that time, Johnson is able to recover and knock that one incomplete. We'll take a timeout. 6:11 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Tigers lead the Trojans 21-6.
We have a timeout on the field.
Bob Healy on the sidelines. Bob?
Coach Tipps on the sideline told his players, okay, guys, we got the ball. Score one more time. We can put them away. That's what they're going to try to do right now. Dean, back to you.
All right, let's go back to the action. Ardmore has it 1st and 10 from somewhere in the vicinity of the 23-yard line.
Sounds good to me. Moser gives it up to Cole, who tries to turn the right corner and can't do it. Douglass using its quickness and speed to run him down on the outside, and it'll be 2nd down and about 9. Clock still moving. A snowy day in Stillwater, Oklahoma is the site for the 5A state championship. The crew here was unable to clean the field. They tried to clean some stripes away so we could tell where the yardage markers were, but the way it's been snowing, those stripes have even disappeared.
Nice play by Alonzo Mays. He's been impressive on the defensive end. Ardmore wanting to put some points on the board, but most importantly, not wanting a turnover at this point.
2nd down and 9. Wiggins. He turns the corner. Wiggins is in the clear. Can Douglass run him down? Kenyatta Davis may have saved a touchdown as he and a couple of other Trojan defenders ran down Dion Wiggins.
Ardmore does a great job of sealing off the inside, and when Wiggins gets it off of left tackle, he just bounces it outside, and it's a foot race.
Oh, what a game Dion Wiggins is having.
Oh, he has had an outstanding game. He's played very, very well as a linebacker. Not the speed of a halfback that you would see there take it and go the distance, but still a strong runner and a tremendous high school football player.
Dale Day with WWLS Radio doing our stats for us. Dale's having a heck of a time trying to figure out where the ball is. It's now at the 31. Big play for Wiggins. Moser hands off up the middle. That's Agers. And Agers crosses the 30. A 44-yard run by number 44.
Mick trying to keep warm up here. If I have another cup of coffee, that'll make 13, and I'm going to put a mouthpiece in. I mean, how much caffeine can one man have? Nice play here by Agers. Picks up, 5? Makes it 2nd and 5.
Mark Lyon on the stop. 2nd down and 5.
2nd down and 5.
Bob Healy said that Ronnie Tipps said one more touchdown, and his team feels they can put it away. Douglass gonna have to get tough. 2nd down and 5. Wiggins over the left side. Hurdles a blocker. He's in the clear and then run down from behind at the 4-yard line. Mark Lyon ran him down. Penalty marker down.
Number 1, Mark Lyon. Number 33, Adrian Money.
We have a face mask,
we have a face mask call against Douglass.
Against the Trojans. About a 20-yard carry for Wiggins.
Take a look at number 40 here for Ardmore. Eric Agers will provide the block right there that gave the hole for Dion Wiggins to bust it up inside, and the Ardmore Tigers are threatening to put this ball game away. 4:32 remaining here in the third as they will have it first and goal inside the 5.
It's like Adrian Lottie may have been in to help out on the defense that time. It's first and goal at the 3 for Ardmore.
First down.
A delay for some reason. Now the officials set the clock, and we're ready to go. Power I formation. Wiggins. And he's nailed by Kenyatta Davis in the backfield. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. The coaches tell you to hit them low, Dean, and especially when they're a lot bigger than you.
Nice stick by Kenyatta Davis. Yeah, it goes low. Overachiever type player, 2-year starter. Really a veteran lineup here for Douglass defensively. Mays a 4-year starter. Scales a 3-year starter. Lyon for 4. Parrish for 4. Started as freshman, as did Lewis. Broyles a 3-year starter defensively. Lofton 3-year.
They only won 1 game when they were freshmen.
Exactly, yeah.
Second down and goal at the 3. Cole follows a block by Agers and gets into the end zone.
Ardmore, good football team. Smart club. They take it and may have just put this ball game away. Powerful display of offense here from Ardmore as they go toss sweep right. Makes it look easy. Once again, Agers, number 40, with the lead block. And that's 6 more for Bobby Cole.
27-6 Tigers lead. 3:48 to play, third quarter. Vasquez will try to hit his 4th extra point of the game. Snap is down in good shape, but his kick sails wide to the left. 27-8, Ardmore has the lead. I think it's time to check in with our sideline guys, Dean. What if we can check in? Is Bob Healy available on the Ardmore sidelines?
Yeah, I'm here.
Bob, what's the situation down there? You said that Tipps had told his team, get another touchdown and we can win it.
Right now they are celebrating, Dean. It's a little early yet, middle of the third quarter, late third quarter, but they feel like with the weather the way it is right now, and with a 27-6 lead, a 21-point lead, it's going to be very, very tough for Douglass to score 3 times here in the fourth quarter. That's what they're going to have to do if they're going to make this a ball game. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks. And let's check in on the other sideline with David Bradley and see what the mood is with the Douglass Trojans trailing 27-6. David.
Yeah, just exactly what Bob said on the other sideline. Really, it happened after the interception return for a touchdown. You could tell everything was really deflated at that point. This really put the nail in the coffin. I mean, there's still a long way to go, but like Bob mentioned, the mood over here is that everything is going against them. Every time a big play goes, it seems to turn directly into 6 points. Long road to hoe for the Douglass team.
David, let's keep it with you just a second. You being from Lawton, I'm sure that Eisenhower really wanted to play for the 6A title today against Norman, but do you think with the way the weather is that they would have preferred to postpone it, as has been the case?
I think they're in the exact same situation that the Douglass Trojans are. Option team. Their strength is speed, getting it to the corner, so I think they'd rather wait for a better day.
All right, thank you. And we have not gotten a confirmation if anyone from the Oklahoma Secondary Schools Activities Association knows any specifics on when those games are scheduled. Please get it to us, and we would love to announce that. At this point, we just know that all the games have been postponed.
Mike Parrish picks up the kickoff and runs it back to the 30-yard line for Douglass. So that's where they'll try to get things going. They trail by 21 points. But, Dean, if there was ever a day, and if there was ever a team that could come back from 3 touchdowns, it's the Douglass Trojans on a snowy Lewis Field.
Mick, they're going to need a break. Need a break.
The big problem in that scenario is the Ardmore Tigers.
Yeah. Oh, they're a solid club. Yeah, they will pose an obstacle. You throw the Ardmore talent in there, and you throw the weather, and it's you're coming at them from a 21-point disadvantage. But it is a talented ball club, and we'll see what the next quarter and 3 minutes holds.
2 wide receivers, full wishbone backfield for Douglass. Even man front now for Ardmore. He's looking for Lofton. Broyles trying to find Lofton, lets it go downfield. He slips and cannot get to the football.
Douglass really wanted that ball to go to Lofton. There you get a look at him, but he was triple teamed on that play and never shook loose.
A lot of contact downfield as well as he was trying to break free. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Douglass.
There's the drive. 6 plays, 77 yards. Only took 2:23. Cole, a 3-yard touchdown, that making it 27-6. Earlier in the quarter, the big play of the ball game, Cody Reese with a 65-yard interception for Ardmore.
2nd down and 10. Colston wants to throw. Actually, that's Broyles wanting to throw deep. Alonzo Mays can't get it.
Had him. Alonzo Mays had beaten the cornerback. Pretty good arm strength there by Mitch Broyles. Threw that about 40, 45 yards into the wind. Good protection. Nice job by the offensive line. And Mays had beaten his man, and this ball will fall incomplete by only about a yard.
Well thrown ball. It's just slightly too far. May have thrown a better spiral than he thought was possible with that heavy ball.
He probably didn't think he could outthrow his receiver that time.
3rd down and 10.
You try to throw that one as far as you can, and it was just a little too far.
Colston trying to run for a 1st down. He'll get half of it and nothing more.
Great stick by Jeremy Gay. Great defenses such as Ardmore's just close in on you, and they just don't allow you to make the big play. Plays that against inferior competition would go for a touchdown or go for 30 or 40 yards, only go for 4 or 5. And that's exactly what happened there on the play as Gay closed along with several other Tigers.
See what Douglass wants to do here. Mitch Broyles is the punter. He's also the quarterback, and he is going back for what will appear to be a punt attempt. 4th down and 5. 2:30 to play 3rd quarter. Ardmore leading Douglass 27-6.
Yeah, Douglass takes time out. I was wondering on that. I don't know that you want to fake a punt. The percentages are not high with you. I think the odds are better if you just line up and snap it and run a play from offense. And I think that they are not sure that that's what they want to do. So they will huddle, and I would think they would go for this 4th and 5 down 21 points.
Well, Douglass has called timeout to think about it. 4th down and 5. They've had some big play opportunities on this possession, but have not been able to convert.
Two similar teams.
Let's go down to Bob Healy on the sidelines.
Got one of the Ardmore players, Junior Walker, with us. Is the feeling now that you guys 3 touchdowns up that it's going to be hard for them to come back?
Well, right now, you know, with the weather and all, I think it will be, because we got the emotion and our crowd behind us. I think it'd be pretty hard for them to come back.
You guys don't even have the band up here to appreciate this, do you?
No, we don't. Well, that didn't stop us today, not at all.
All right, now Ardmore will have plenty of time to celebrate if they hold on. Back to the booth.
Douglass in punt formation. Ardmore really has nobody back. Da'Wuan Lawson is kind of as a safety, but he's only 15 yards downfield. Broyles to punt. Snap is low. He bobbles it, picks it up, gets it off.
Stanford White electing to go ahead and boot that one away, although he will only be credited, Broyles will only be credited with around a 20-yard kick.
And again, no return.
Let's go to the other sideline and check in on the Douglass sideline with David Bradley. David?
Just to elaborate a little more about the passing game, we talked about the quarterbacks not having very much difficulty throwing the football, but you can tell that they are. The problem, of course, is the timing is completely different. The receivers can't run nearly as fast, and they can't adjust to the ball in flight, and that's hurting the passing game. Let's go back upstairs.
Yeah, you're right, but you know, if you get a step on a defender, you still have a chance for a big play. We've seen Lofton and Mays a couple of times deep, unable to get the ball to them. And Ardmore, obviously, at this point, will not be putting it in the air as much. They'd love to see that clock run.
Agers close to a 1st down for Ardmore. Ran right up the middle. Eric Agers. Minute 40 and counting in the 3rd quarter, D.
Oh, I was just thinking I'd like to see this Ardmore club line up against the 6A champion. Is it Indiana? One of the states has a basketball championship where all classifications are lumped in together. They come out with one champion. But we'll probably see a national playoff in college football before we see that in high school ball.
2nd down and short for Ardmore. Their opportunity to do something fancy if they dare with a 3-touchdown lead. Wiggins, 1st down, and a little bit more. Good blocking on the right side by the Tigers.
We mentioned at half the Douglass coaches saying they were losing the line of scrimmage, losing the battle in the line of scrimmage, and feeling they had to win that here in the 2nd half to win the football game. And there's a good example. Ardmore still dominating at the line of scrimmage.
And you see the clock in the lower right-hand portion of your screen clicking off the final seconds of the third quarter. 1st and 10 for Ardmore. They're at the 42-yard line. Hand off to Agers. He gets nowhere.
Ardmore not running as much clock as I would have expected. They snapped that ball with about 16 seconds left on the play clock.
Well, a lot of Ardmore fans are enjoying this game on Ardmore Cable this afternoon.
They have quite a squad. I'm sure they're proud of this team.
They should be. You know, I remember you telling me 3 or 4 weeks ago that someone you respected told you Ardmore was perhaps the best team in all of high school football in the state of Oklahoma.
And that's saying a lot. I know Lawton Eisenhower is very talented. Norman has a tremendous collection of talent. And there are several other clubs. Edmonds is a fine club. Jinx good. So that's saying a lot. Ardmore is obviously a very well-coached team. 2 or 3 dynamic high school players from which to build. And they're as good as advertised. That guy's one of them.
You know, one thing that kind of puzzles me today is they called off the Class 4A game. Weatherford and Clinton, everybody could have walked to that game. Nobody had to drive. It's just 15 miles separating those 2 Custer County towns. Evidently, they will play that on a future date. Here comes Cole. Run out of bounds on the near sidelines by Kenyatta Davis. Eight seconds left in the third quarter. Clock stopped with the out of bounds, and it'll bring up 3rd down. Let's call it 6.
Douglass goes wide once again, and they're not in a mode of really concentrating on running out the clock, but they would just as soon let the clock run out. And Douglass is pretty happy that Ardmore is not taking advantage of that. They snapped it with 16 seconds one time. They run out of bounds here, so they are extending this about as far as you can. 3rd and 6, 8 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Moser gives off to Wiggins. Gets a block from Talton and turns the corner. Still in bounds, and now he's stopped at the 26, but it's going to be a 1st down. Boy, big Chris Talton, number 76, made a block, Dean.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best offensive lineman at Ardmore. Tremendous defensive player as well. Great feet on him, and on a day like this, you need to have great feet. And the feet of Dion Wiggins have been busy this afternoon as well. Big conversion there. The Ardmore Tigers have done a very good job on converting a bunch of 3rd downs and the 1 4th down situation in the first half.
Marcus Banks made a good block also on the corner. 2 seconds left in the third quarter. 1st down and 10 for Ardmore. Moser drops back as if to throw, looking for Taj Johnson. Off his fingertips, incomplete. And that will do it for the third quarter of play. But what a very productive 12 minutes it was for Ardmore. They've extended their lead to 27-6. We've got 12 minutes of football left from a frozen Lewis Field in Stillwater. Stay with us.
We missed a big play, and we have it for you on tape as the first play of the fourth quarter has just been run. Or actually, that was the last play of the third quarter. Fumble coming up here. Dion Wiggins gets the ball, and Mick, it is stripped. Douglass having to go for the football now, trying to force the turnovers, and they get the turnover.
Tommy Bullock breaking free, Dean. And look at big Chris Talton trying to run him down.
He does run him down, and Ardmore stops the Douglass run for a touchdown, but Douglass has it now 1st and goal, as that is officially the last play of the third quarter. The reason we took the break is that there was after we took the break, we were notified that there was a penalty, and of course you can't end the quarter on a penalty, and so they ran the 1 play. Douglass has it. After it all will be sorted out, they will have it 1st and goal, trailing 27-6 beginning the 4th.
Trojans needed a big play and got it. Bobby Cole saved a touchdown, ran down Tommy Bullock, 6'3", 230-pound junior. Dean, take a look.
A couple of big men running down the frozen tundra.
And Cole at the top of your screen there is going to run him down.
He is. He is. A nice job. Tarleton in on the stop as well, or he almost got there, but Cole comes. The defensive back has a little more speed, but he is not able to bring him down until the 6-yard line, and so Douglass has it 1st and goal.
I think he said, my jersey number's 20 and yours is 70. I'm going to catch you. It's a rule.
So Douglass has a chance here to bring this one back to 27 if they go for 2, which I would expect them to be within 2 touchdowns.
1st and goal at the 6 for the Trojans. As yet, we've not officially started the fourth quarter. Seems like we ended the third quarter about 10 minutes ago. The Douglass sideline still not getting too excited about it. They trail by 21 points.
Two teams are very similar. Great wide receivers, strong running games. They have swarming, very fast defenses, and both traditional powerhouses.
Play being held up for a moment. I don't know why.
It's getting pretty nasty. There's our heavyweight down there, Mr. Erickson again, and the weather's not getting better. It looks like it's a mixture of snow and sleet now.
Somebody's probably going to try to suit him up. Run up the middle.
Douglass now with the wind at its back, and they will need it throwing here in the fourth.
First and goal at the 6. Colston is in at quarterback. Wishbone backfield behind him. He hands off up the middle and getting close to the goal line, but no signal. There it is. Touchdown by Chris Long. Chris Long went right up the middle and scores for Douglass, 27-12. Extra point pending. Here you see the blocks, Dean.
Good job by the Douglass offensive line. They have not won the line of scrimmage for the better part of the day, but Long able to get in before Eric Agers makes the tackle, and if they convert the two here, we have a 13-point game.
Big gap there. That's one of the few times that Ardmore's defensive front has been opened up, and Douglass will go for a 2-point conversion try.
There's a 15-point differential, so this is a significant play in the Douglass comeback attempt. Audible at the line of scrimmage by Mitchell Broyle. Two tight ends, full house.
He's still got it. Wants to throw. Lets it fly. Tipped. Somebody caught it. The conversion is good. Hey, is that Lottie? I believe it's Lottie that's holding the football. Adrian Lottie took a tipped pass, laying on his back, and caught it.
Broyles will force this ball into Lofton. He knows he's an outstanding receiver, but he's covered. Lofton keeps the ball alive, and indeed it is Lottie who comes down with it. We'll take another look at it. A big play, and Mick, it was here a year ago that Jeff Frazier made a snag in about that part of the end zone for Westmore. That was a significant play in the 5A game a season ago. We'll see how big this play is, but at this point it looks like it could be very important for Douglass, as now it's a 13-point game.
Well, I think Douglass felt that they got some bad breaks in the first half, and they got a big break there because that ball was thrown to Chris Lofton. He tipped it twice. Adrian Lottie lying on his back in the end zone, had the ball bounce right to him. He had the foresight to have his hands out and caught the football, but may turn out to be a big play. 27-14, Ardmore still leading it. 11:53 to go in the ball game. Ardmore is back deep for this kick. That's Da'Wuan Lawson standing at about the 6. We haven't seen a kickoff go anywhere near that far, and now the Ardmore coaches bring up their 3 deep men.
And Mick, I'm sure after we introduce that telestrator in the open, people are probably on their couches, on the edge of their seats, wanting to know when is it coming back. Well, it's frozen up right now. We're trying to de-ice it, thaw it out. Questionable whether it will return.
Here comes the kick. Da'Wuan Lawson at the 8.
Good kick.
20, 30, 40. One man to beat. He didn't beat him. He's gone. Da'Wuan Lawson has taken it 92 yards for a touchdown.
Da'Wuan Lawson on the return. Touchdown, Ardmore Tigers.
Second big play of the game by Da'Wuan Lawson. Dean, take a look.
Lawson can fly. This is a low kick. He gets it all the way back at around the 8-yard line. But because it's a low kick, he gets a running start before he meets any of the Trojan defenders. And he does an excellent job of breaking through this initial flood of tacklers. But after he breaks through there is no one, and he is not touched at all. Only the kicker between himself and the goal line. And with the footing the way it is, he easily gets by him, and he goes the distance, and that might be the one that just puts it away.
Ironically, Orlando Walton, the fastest Trojan on the field, was the last guy he beat. Extra point attempt by Vasquez.
The kick is up.
Ardmore leads Douglass 34-14. Stay with us. A lot more explosive action coming from a frozen Lewis Field in Stillwater.
From Stillwater, this is the Oklahoma 5A State High School Football Championship with the Ardmore Tigers versus Oklahoma City Douglass. It's brought to you by Total Petroleum, makers of fine Avco, Vickers, and Roadrunner gasolines.
This is speed against speed. A little bit surprised that Orlando Walton tried to make the tackle rather than trying to run him down.
Big play by Da'Wuan Lawson, who has had an outstanding game. As Ardmore takes a 34-14 lead.
Ball taken by Mike Parrish, his second kickoff return of the game. He gets a stiff arm on Banks and gets near midfield. After viewing that replay another time, I can see now that Walton was trying to just get around the corner and get him. Let's go down the sidelines and see Bob Healy.
We got Da'Wuan Lawson with us. Everybody talked about the footing and how it'd be a problem. You're running away with everybody. All right, he's got to go right now, as a matter of fact. You know, you get lucky sometimes, you don't get lucky sometimes. We're trying to interview these guys during the game. They need him out there on the field now. All right, back to you guys.
Injury to Mike Parrish on the sidelines. He is the Trojan that returned the kick too near midfield. Well, it's 34-14, Dean. I guess at this point, if you're the Trojan coaching staff, you're trying to insist that your players not surrender.
Oh, I don't think anybody will quit. But you're certainly fighting one that you're going big time uphill. Ardmore has just come back and come back and come back. 34 points. Looks like it may be too much to overcome now as you see the yards rushing. 217 for Ardmore, 124 passing for Douglass.
Douglass, you see, leading, I was going to say, leading in time of possession. That just shows you that Ardmore's had the big plays.
Trojans guilty of 8 penalties for 64 yards.
(34-14). Ardmore leading Douglass. 11.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Douglass near midfield. Let's call it their own 49. Lone back is King. Colston hands off to him. He finds some running room before he runs into Dion Wiggins after a 4-yard gain.
Douglass just trying to make the Ardmore defense play them honest. You try to spread them out, and you're thinking pass, 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 but you've got to make them play honest and slip in a run occasionally. Wouldn't think we'd see a lot of runs.
Second down and 5. Mitch Broyles now into quarterback Douglass. He has 3 wide receivers. Alonzo Mays at the top. That's Chris Lofton trying to get some footing at the bottom of your screen. Broyles to throw. Looking for Lofton. Has him overthrown.
Ball sailed on him a little bit. We've seen mostly zone coverage in the Ardmore secondary. Johnson and Lawson have been on the 2 outstanding receivers. There's Lawson. Or excuse me, Lofton.
Your tongue froze up, Dean.
Lawson's had a pretty good game. Both the Lawson and Lofton factor has been here today.
It's 3rd down and 5 for Douglass. Lofton splits wide left. Mays looks like he's standing off sides, wide right. Colston rolls out. Throws back across the field. Incomplete, intended for Ken Lewis. Like they were trying to isolate Lewis on that side of the field. 4th down and 5, 4-down territory for Douglass.
Lewis slipped down underneath, has a little bandage there on his thigh. Tried to slip him down underneath, but Ardmore, for the most part, they've been beaten a couple of times, but only by a yard or 2. I haven't really seen many, if any, major busts defensively, and Douglass has not been able to exploit that. You'd think on an afternoon like this, or just in general, you'd make a couple of major mistakes in the secondary, but that has not happened.
Well, as I said, it was 4-down territory, and now Douglass going to punt. Broyles lets it fly. Ardmore has nobody back, and they are going to send them back deep into their own territory. falls to rest at the 9-yard line.
Interesting decision there to punt with only 10:27 remaining, trailing by 20 points. Stanford White apparently thinking that his team can maybe force some turnovers. Let's go down to the sideline with Douglass, David Bradley.
Yeah, just to update on the injury situation. Mike Parrish hurt on the kickoff return, and he has sprained an ankle, and it is pretty bad. He had a hard time getting his shoe off, so it looks like he may be done for the rest of the game.
Okay. I'm sure 24 hours ago he did not envision his team being 20 down, playing in these conditions, and having a sprained ankle.
37-yard punt there by Broyles is the longest in the game.
I guess with the weather like this, they don't need to rush an ice bag over there, do they?
Just stick your foot in the ground.
Yeah.
It's 1st and 10. Ardmore at their own 9. Wiggins has it. Oh, it's Akers bouncing outside. He gets up to the 16-yard line. Mark Lyon in to get the tackle for the Trojans. And Da'Wuan checks into the ball game for Ardmore. 9:47, clock is moving. Tigers are happy about that. Trojans are not. 2nd down and 4. Wiggins checks out of the ball game. Power I for Ardmore. Moser loses the football and falls on it. Well, that's exactly what they don't want to happen. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Well, you know, I guess from Stanford's White position, the last big play he had was on a fumble. Maybe he just as soon Ardmore had it at their own 10-yard line. Broyles made a nice punt. And Ardmore here will try to get something going so they can move the chains. They put Wiggins back in the ball game. He's been a major force both offensively and defensively. Taj Johnson split wide to the left. Akers the fullback. They give it to Dion, and he bounces outside, can't get anywhere. Dion Wiggins stopped short of the 1st down, and now Ardmore sends on its punting unit.
Nice stand there by the Trojans. Kenyatta Davis, one of the first up on the tackle.
Well, if you ever go for a block, now's the time. Because you know the ball's not going to be kicked very far anyway. It's into the wind, and when it lands, it'll be into the snow.
Ardmore's been good in special teams for the most part. They had the one poor snap or bobbled snap, whatever you want to call it, on the first exchange from the deep snapper to the punter. But other than that, they've been pretty good.
Ken Lewis standing at midfield. Douglass gets the kickoff, and Lewis will let it bounce. Takes a surprisingly good roll for Ardmore and moves into Douglass territory at somewhere around the 49-yard line. That's where Douglass will try to make things happen in a hurry. We'll be right back. Trojans trailing the Tigers 34-14. Where the 5A state championship game is being conducted. Ardmore in control, 34-14, 7:48 to play. Time running out on Douglass. Trojans trying to get things to happen in a hurry. Wide receivers left, wide receivers right. Mike Colston in at quarterback. He spots single coverage at the top and looks that direction. He's got Alonzo Mays in the clear, and he's tackled by Marcus Banks for a 1st down. It was Chris Lofton, not Mays, but a nice move there and a little bit of a crossing route, Dean.
Yeah, they brought Lofton in on a little slant, a quick 3-step drop. Broyles in. I couldn't tell if it was Broyles or whoever it was on the money, and Lofton was able to take it on a slant route for a nice pickup. 1st and 10 from the 31.
It's 1st and 10. Colston drops back again on the slanting pattern, and let's see if they give him the completion. No, they'll call it incomplete this time. Looked like the same type of play. Lofton not able to hold on. 7:22 to play. Clock stops with the incompleted pass. Ball is at the 31. Sounds good to me. Broyles in at quarterback. King is his lone setback. He throws, ball is tipped away. Nice play defensively by Brian Cooper.
Bobby Cole also in the vicinity. Again, Ardmore has just been in great position all afternoon in the secondary. Not giving Douglass much room. Wide receivers rarely have been open.
Ball falls incomplete. 3rd down and 10. Colston in at quarterback.
Hard to throw and catch in these conditions. Wow.
He wants to throw. Lets it fly over the middle. They go up for it, and it falls incomplete. Adrian Lottie, the intended receiver.
Pressure came from Agers and also Wiggins. That's a look at Colston. He never had time to get fully set up to have a chance to find his receiver. Didn't have good footing and didn't get enough zip on it.
4th down and 10 for Douglass. Ball resting at the 31-yard line. Lottie and Lofton split wide to the right. Trying to set up a reverse with Mays, and the play is snuffed out immediately. Ricardo Gonzalez sought out Broyles and brought him down in the snow.
I think you'll probably hear a lot of questioning after this ball game as to why this game was played, and just thinking about what the OSSAA would say. I know that they were saying, well, the teams were here. Most of the fans were already up here. Why not go ahead and play it for right or wrong?
Not a whole lot of choice, because the people in Ardmore and many of them from Oklahoma City that were coming had already left. There would have been no way to get in touch with everybody that was driving up here already that the game had been canceled. The weather just took everybody by surprise. Had it started snowing last night, perhaps they could have made other arrangements. But with this early kickoff time and Ardmore having to come from so far away, I don't know that they had much option.
And again, it is such a shame because, you know, one team leaves happy. Ardmore's excited, although they would have preferred to play it on a nice day, because there are so many talented, speed, skill players here today. It would have really been so much more fun to watch with good conditions, but that's not the case.
Right. It may have been different, but I don't think anyone doubts that the better team is on top of the scoreboard right now.
Ardmore about to cap off a perfect season. They will end up, unless something very bizarre happens in the last 6 minutes and 10 seconds, 13-0.
Actually, this would be 14.
14-0.
Yeah, for the Tigers. 2 wide receivers for Moser on 2nd down and 9. He hands off. Da'Wuan Lawson has it, but he's tackled in the backfield. Tackled by Tony King, one of the many seniors playing his final game for the Douglass Trojans. Bring up 3rd down and about 10. Lawson checks out of the ball game. Cole comes in at the tailback position. I want to give credit to that Ardmore offensive line. Played so splendidly today. Kyle Richardson, Court Roberts, Ellis Dyson, Royce Evans, Chris Talton. That's Talton, number 76. You see it, right tackle. Ball is loose in the backfield, but Moser falls on it. And that'll bring up 4th down and long. 5 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the ball game. The clock is moving. And Moser comes out of the game as Ardmore sends on its punting unit. Dion Wiggins punting for the Tigers. Ken Lewis will be back to return it for Douglass. Still snowing very hard in Stillwater. If you have not heard, the 6A game tonight will not be played this evening here in Stillwater. So if you've been out playing golf today and you just walked back in and you're planning on coming down, don't bother.
Only my father was out golfing today, Mick. You had to work, so I know you wouldn't have been the other person in Oklahoma.
Well, I got a tee time for tomorrow, and I'm kind of worried about it. 4th down and 15. Wiggins will punt. He's trying to get some footing.
You can get around pretty quickly.
Use those yellow balls. Wiggins trying to get it off and does. There'll be no return. The ball resting at the 47-yard line in Douglass territory. 4:26 to play. Trojans take over there and will try to get something going. They've not had much offense here in the second half, although very early in the second half, they seem to have some momentum, and then that big interception or fumble, however you want to call it, that Cody Reese took in for the touchdown, and Ardmore has never looked back.
That was a big play. Cody Reese took it 65 yards. Bobby Cole took a 3-yarder in, and it looked like when Douglass turned around and got the big defensive play and Long scored from 6 yards out to make it 23-14, we might have a game at the end, but Lawson took the ensuing kickoff 92 yards, and that's the difference now at 34-14.
Colston's pass is tipped and falls incomplete. 4:07 to play. Ball thrown and tipped. Looked like Eric Agers, the Tiger that got his hand on it. Second down and 10. We'll call it the 48-yard line. Broyles 2 of 9 for 73 yards in the ball game. He's in there on this snap. King is lone setback. Broyles to throw. Lets it fly deep. Mays can't get it. Slips in the snow, and it falls incomplete. Adrian Lottie actually the intended receiver. And that'll bring up third down and 10 for Douglass.
Ben Hart, one of my childhood heroes, is the wide receivers coach for Douglass, and he's had some outstanding talent to work with. Remember Big Ben?
Oh, yeah. Still holds an OU all-time record for longest pass reception.
Longest pass reception. He was pretty stylish. He played back on some great Douglass teams, and a great player at Oklahoma.
Third and 10 for the Trojans. Blitz. Picked up. Colston slips and falls. Dion Wiggins will be credited with the tackle, as he was the first Tiger to come up and touch him, although he was already down. 3:47 to play in the ball game. Clock moving. Dean, there he is, Dion Wiggins.
Got to be our player of the game. I'll head down and chat with Dion in a moment, don't you think? I mean, there have been some outstanding performances. Da'Wuan Lawson had a great game for Ardmore. The line of scrimmage dominated by the Tigers, and you could just choose any one of those fellows. But I would think that Dion Wiggins would have to be our choice.
I think so, too. Cody Reese may have had the biggest play in the game by picking off that ball in the Douglass backfield and running it in for a touchdown that really turned the momentum around and led Ardmore on to this victory. But you are right indeed. Dion Wiggins has been a force on both sides of the football. Several big tackles from his linebacker spot. And then he's been the workhorse for the Ardmore Tigers on the ground.
Taj Johnson had a solid ball game as well. Everyone expected him to. Taj caught the touchdown pass early on the 3rd and short and has played very, very well in the secondary. Taj is a guy recruited by a lot of good schools. Plans to visit Colorado, Notre Dame, Northwestern, maybe the Oklahoma schools.
Chris Talton, an unsung hero in this ball game. He's not actually out there now for Ardmore, but he has gone both ways in this ball game. 6 foot, 278-pound junior. He's been in on several key plays. There you see the Ardmore fans. They won a state championship back in 1990 when they had a guy named Raphael Denson, who has seen this field a few times. He now plays tailback for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Check that flanker. They've moved him out. Pat said, we're going to move him out there and throw it to him some.
Blitz on. Douglass picks it up. Broyles throws a screen pass. It's incomplete out of Lottie's hands. And that will do it for Douglass's possession as Ardmore takes over. Ball resting at the 39-yard line in Douglass territory. And Ardmore will try to move it down one more time. The starters are in. Three minutes, 10 seconds to play. Ardmore wants to move the clock. I formation for Moser. Taj Johnson split wide to the right, but they give it up the middle. And that's Ricky Smith Ricky Smith with his, what's that, his second carry of the game, Dale? Ricky Smith carrying it over the right side for no gain.
All right, Mick, I'm going to leave it with you for this last 250. I'm going to go down and talk to Dion Wiggins, and we'll talk to you after the ball game.
Dean enjoyed it. Good job.
Thank you. You too.
Second down and 10 coming up for Ardmore. 12 seconds still on the play clock. Let's see if Moser decides to run it down. Draw play. Ricky Smith trying to get outside. Can't do it. Tony King riding down. Officials are stopping play. Must be a penalty marker down. Oh, there it is. Sometimes it's hard to see those penalty markers when they're covered with snow. That's the case this time. See what the officials have determined.
It's on the defense or offense. It's a dead ball.
That's an equipment problem if my officials' rule book is correct. Problem with the equipment on the offense. Second down and 10. Failure to wear proper equipment. I guess he didn't have snow boots on, because that's what you need today. Second down and 15 for Ardmore. Clock moving with 2:21 to play. Yes, the clock does start after a penalty. Moser going to let some time tick off. 9, 8, 7 seconds left on his play clock. Now he'll snap it, and he hands off up the middle to Cody Reese. Ball is loose, whistle blown. They'll say he was down. Well, it's been a wild day, and if you're a high school football official in the state of Oklahoma, this is when you earned your year's salary, trying to determine if you should play state championship games in these conditions. The Class 5A and the Class B championships were contested today. The others, whether they were semifinals or finals, have been postponed until a later date. It is third down and 15 to go for Ardmore. They pitch it wide. That's Cody Reese. He can't get anywhere. Hit hard by Douglass, and it'll be fourth down.
First there for Douglass, number 11, Kenyatta Davis.
The Douglass Trojans won their first two ball games of the year and then fell to Tulsa, Washington, in what is a 5A school trying to take on a 6A school. After that, Douglass won its next 7 regular season games. Then in the playoffs, beat Chickasha 54-8, Woodward 34-0, and Bixby 42-7. I've got Douglass here. Meanwhile, Ardmore has had a perfect season. They're trying to get their 14th straight win. In the playoffs, they beat El Reno 46-7, Carl Albert 24-21, and Durant 34-6. Ardmore starters coming off the field, and the Ardmore contingent that hasn't listened.
On the offense. It's fourth down.
Gives them a standing ovation. Maybe there's just too much snow in their seat. That would get me to stand up. Delay of game called on Ardmore. It'll be fourth down and 20. Brian Cooper is in the ball game. So is Dion Wiggins. I think Cooper may be in at quarterback. Moser has left the ball game. Another delay of game against Ardmore. Well, if they keep going that direction, they're going to be back to I-35 pretty soon. It's fourth down and 25. Tigers with a comfortable 34-14 lead. Dion Wiggins back to punt. He has been selected as the player of the game. Ken Lewis back for Douglass. Ball gets away from Dion. He picks it up, and he smothers it, but Douglass is going to take over at the 30-yard line. 38 seconds to play. Douglass gets a break. A little late, but a big break that will give them some field position to try to throw one into the end zone. Try to get another touchdown here before the time expires. Second time in the ball game, Wiggins has been unable took control of the snap. Neither of them were perfect. Very difficult to snap a football deep in 3 inches of snow. Colston wants to throw. Does. Looking for Lofton, and the ball goes incomplete. 21 seconds to play.
Colston's pass intended on the right side of number 85, Alonzo Mays, and he's batted down by an Ardmore player. Number 12,
Dean Blevins will be joining us immediately after the game. Be talking to some Ardmore players and coaches as the Ardmore Tigers have ripped off their 14th straight win of the year. Three wide receivers for Mitch Broyles. Wanting to let it go. He's hit by Wiggins just as he let go of the ball, and it falls incomplete. Got speared right in the back by Dion Wiggins. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Douglass working quickly. 15 seconds left on the play clock. 14 seconds left in the ball game. Adrian Lottie and Chris Lofton are split wide to the right. Alonzo Mays is split wide to the left. And it's a quarterback sneak by Colton that will run out the clock. It's now official. The Ardmore Tigers have beat the Douglass Trojans 34-14 to win the Class 5A state championship. Head coach Ronnie Tipps winning another state championship, his second in a 3-year span. Dean Blevins is down on the sidelines trying to get in position where he can talk with some of the Ardmore people. A very tremendously impressive victory for Ardmore. Let's go down to Dean Blevins.
All right, Mick, Ronnie Tipps is one fired-up football coach. Coach, you cap a 14-0 season. How's it feel?
I tell you, I'm real happy for our kids, and hey, everything we've asked them to do this year, they've done, and it's just an unbelievable feeling. This is the first for me, ever going undefeated and topping it off. There's never been an undefeated team at Ardmore, and these kids in 1992 Ardmore Tigers, nobody will ever be able to top them.
What do you think about playing in these conditions?
I didn't think that was a real fair deal, and you know, we have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach White, and you know, I know he's kind of disappointed. It probably helped us because they got tremendous team speed, but our kids did what they had to do to win.
One last question, Coach. Could you have, a lot of people saying this is the best team in the state regardless of class. You want to take on the Lawton Eisenhower Norman winner, huh?
Well, you know, right now we've won it. Hey, Dean, we'll take anybody. Vince, we've already won it.
Congratulations, the Ardmore Tigers, the 5A state champions. Dion Wiggins is somewhere around here, and he is our player of the game. Mick, we will look for him and come back to you in just a second when we find number 44.
Okay, Dean, we found him. Now, if we could just get the two of them together, let me express my thanks to our network production team. You know, putting on a game of this magnitude, folks, is a massive undertaking, and doing it in these weather conditions, a very formidable task. You all did a great job today under some tough conditions. Dean and Dion Wiggins will be back right after this message.
5A state champion, and one of the reasons is this guy. Dion Wiggins is our MVP today. Outstanding performance both as a runner and a linebacker.
Well, appreciate it. I'm just happy that we won it. I mean, coming into this game, we knew this was going to be a real tough game, and everybody was real hyped for it, and I'm just so happy that we came out with a victory.
How was it playing in these conditions?
It was unusual because, you know, in Oklahoma, not too many teams get to play in all this snow, so it was just a good experience and a bad one. You know, you had your bad faults because of the snow, but I loved it.
16 carries, 117 yards. You not only were active offensively, but defensively, you were a headhunter as a linebacker.
Well, Coach came in and said, hey, we need to stop their offense. We need to stop the run, and if we can do that, we'll be successful, and that's what we've done.
All right, how are you going to celebrate?
Oh, I don't know. I just take a shower.
All right, Dion, congratulations. Dion Wiggins headed to the shower. We'll take a timeout. Stay with us as action continues from Stillwater.
boot.
station will not be shown tonight. It has been postponed because of the weather. We, at this point, do not have a new starting time for it, or a new day for that matter. Alabama and Florida State are playing for the Southeastern Conference Championship. That game will be following on ABC affiliates along our network line. Right now, that game is no score between Alabama and FSU in the first quarter. Dean Blevins is down on the field. Dean, let's go down and check in and see what you got.
Well, Mick, the Ardmore Tigers just prayed victory prayer, and all happy down here. As you can see behind me, they are hoisting the 5A state championship trophy. A happy group of players and fans from Ardmore after capping a 14-0 season. Quite an afternoon, and a miserable, look at this, Russ, show this down here. I mean, we're looking at inches of snow. How these guys played in this, I'll never know, but still, Ardmore pretty excited about it.
Thank you, Dan. We also appreciate the sideline work of Bob Healy from our KTUL affiliate in Tulsa. Also, David Bradley from KSW in Lawton. They did a great job keeping us informed from the sidelines. We'll be back after this commercial break along our network line.
We want to thank all the people for tuning in today, and of course thank our sideline reporters, David Bradley on one side, and on the other side Bob Healy out of Tulsa. And Mick, we had quite an afternoon, miserable conditions, but a happy group of Ardmore people today. But we also tip our hats to the Douglass Trojans, who had an outstanding season. They take it on the chin today. We hope they drive carefully back to Oklahoma City and also back to Ardmore.
Dean, thank you for helping out up here and also down on the field. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a tremendous time on a very cold and miserable day in Stillwater. Ardmore is your 5A state champion. Thank you for joining us.